agiribonu di egwu nkwazi na ya mgbochi okwukwu kakwa ogwugwu mma mgbe ụwa bịa na ihe ebube eme mgbagbu ụwa gbatawa na ihe ebube emewa Aneke telivishọn na-emere ogbenye mere amadi ihe ị na-agba nkwụ ị na-eme nkepụta nwa ị na-akwa ozu ị na-agba akwụkwọ bịawa na Aneke telivishọn bịa ka ezuoru ozi ọma bịawa na Aneke telivishọn idume na-emere ogbenye mere amadi ihe ume Igbo bịawo na nke a bụ nke anyị ịmara ebe oge anọ etiho mọnwụ ntakịtụkwa mọnwụ si nne ya mere ha ji wee weta
Need advert placements, coverage for events, or the latest news stories? Call 070-3043-7110 right now. Aneke TV, move with the world.
Online scams are becoming more common, from fake giveaways to phishing messages and investment fraud. We are on the street today to hear from Nigerians.
What leads to this camera is for you to get it quick, get it today, and for you to be counted, because in our society today, wealth counts. And if you have not gotten it quickly at your ripe age or at a younger age, it seems that you don't know what you are doing. I advise people to always be conscious of themselves and be contented with what they have at a particular moment.
As scammers are turned to in our flesh, right? They are a nuisance to the community now. People should be very, very careful. You know, don't be quick to give your information online. One, number two, don't believe everything that someone tells you on social media, because that's one platform where scammers exploit a lot to scam people.
Of course, it's not a good one, because so many people do impersonate, trying to use someone's account, like to impersonate and make money. Some used to, like some come to social media handles like WhatsApp group, they'll start begging money, that kind of thing. So such a thing can spoil people's image, so it's not good. My advice to everybody that is using social media, just be very careful with your accounts. Don't share your personal password. Then if you see any message in your phone, if you receive any message from your phone telling you to send so many digits, such digit number to you know, that kind of thing, to groups or phones like that, nobody should fall a victim. Don't do it. Don't respond to chats that you don't know. And you see all these people that in social media that does not use their pictures, they use people's images. All these white men images, flowers and animations. Most of them are scammers. Don't.
To news around the globe on Aneke TV, your trusted window to the major developments across Nigeria and the global community. I'm Deborah Wakaba, glad to have you join us. Now moving over to the headlines. The federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities reached a landmark agreement aimed at stabilizing the nation's university system. Moves to impeach Rivers State Governor Similai Fubara suffer a major setback as more lawmakers defect, weakening the plot. 17 new fellows are inducted to strengthen monitoring and accountability in Enugu State's local health system. And on the foreign scene, the Republic of Benin grants citizenship to members of the African diaspora, with renowned filmmaker Spike Lee lending support to the historic initiative. And on business, the federal government directs the implementation of value-added tax on fintech transactions and bank transfers. And in sports, Morocco edged past the gallant Super Eagles side on penalties to secure a place in the AFCON final. And now to the news in details. The Minister of Defense, retired Lieutenant General Christopher Musa, has warned Sheikh Ahmed Gumi and other influential Nigerians against justifying the activities of bandits under any guise. Speaking in Maiduguri, the minister said referring to terrorists as brothers amounts to aiding and abetting criminality. General Musa stressed that such narratives undermine national security efforts and provide moral legitimacy for violent groups responsible for widespread killings and displacements. He said compassion must not be confused with complicity, insisting that terrorism must be condemned without ambiguity. The defense minister stated that neutrality is not an option in the fight against insurgency, warning that individuals who defend or shield criminals through public influence share responsibility for the consequences of their actions. Meanwhile, stakeholders from Sokoto State Eastern Senatorial District have appealed to the federal government and state governments to urgently intervene in communities displaced by bandit attacks. The call follows renewed threats by notorious bandit leader Bello Toji, which forced residents of Tidibale and surrounding areas to flee. Secretary of the Sokoto Eastern Zone Development Association, Muazu Shamaki, confirmed that over 20 settlements have been affected, with residents abandoning their homes after a video showing mass displacement went viral on social media. Another community leader, Malam Basha Guyawa Isa, said some displaced persons had crossed into neighboring Niger Republic. He appealed for swift military action to restore security and enable residents to return to their ancestral homes. The National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria's inmate population increased from 69,946 in 2017 to 81,710 in the second quarter of 2025. The figure represents a 16.82% rise over the 8-year period. According to the Nigerian Correctional Service statistics released in Abuja, Lagos State recorded the highest inmate population with 9,209 inmates, despite a correctional capacity of 4,167, resulting in 221% overcrowding. Other states with high inmate population include Ogun with 4,939 inmates, Kano with 4,667, and Enugu with 3,536. The report also highlighted challenges related to unsentenced inmates and correctional facility capacity nationwide. The federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU have signed a new agreement aimed at stabilizing Nigeria's university system. The agreement was signed Wednesday at the Third Fund Conference Hall in Abuja. The Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, said the agreement is designed to end recurring industrial actions and improve funding and administration in public universities. The Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, said the government is committed to full implementation. ASU President, Professor Chris Piwuna, welcomed the agreement but urged the government to honor all commitments. He said the union expects implementation without resorting to strike actions, noting that students have suffered prolonged academic disruptions. Meanwhile, health workers under the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, at the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital have staged a peaceful protest over unpaid salaries. The protest followed an emergency congress held at the union secretariat within the hospital. The workers accused the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare of stopping their salaries after invoking the no work, no pay policy. JOHESU members have been on an indefinite strike since November 14, 2025. The chairman of JOHESU at UITH, Mr. Oyelowa Olufemi, said the government had failed to implement a memorandum of understanding signed since 2009, describing the action as insensitive to the welfare of health workers. Moves to impeach Rivers State Governor Similai Fubara and his deputy Professor Ngozi Odu have suffered a setback following withdrawals by key members of the State House of Assembly. Lawmakers Baril Nwako and Emilia Madi joined others in calling for dialogue. At a press briefing in Port Harcourt, minority leader Silvanus Nwankwo said pressure from elders and national stakeholders informed their decision. He acknowledged alleged constitutional breaches but urged lawmakers to temper justice with mercy. The withdrawals have weakened the impeachment process, with growing calls for reconciliation between the executive and legislative to prevent political instability in the state. Kwara State Fire Service has contained a major fire outbreak at a Mocha foam distribution depot in the acid damp area of Ilorin. The fire, which occurred in a warehouse, threatened nearby buildings before firefighters arrived. Director of the State Fire Service CFS Alabi Mohammed said the inferno was difficult to control due to the highly flammable foam materials. No casualty was recorded while the cause remained under investigation. In a related incident, firefighters extinguished a fire in a 5-bedroom duplex in Pipeline area of Ilorin, allegedly caused by faulty solar installation. Residents were advised to ensure professional installation of power systems. The Anambra State Police Command has arrested a masquerade involved in violent attacks on residents of Obulu community in Orumba North local government area. The arrest followed a viral video showing unprovoked assaults on civilians. Police described the act as unlawful and unacceptable, stressing that cultural practices cannot be used to justify violence. The suspect is currently in custody as investigations continue. The command said efforts are ongoing to arrest other accomplices and warned that anyone using masquerade activities to harass residents will face the full weight of the law. The Inspector General of Police, Dr. Kayode Bitokun, has inaugurated the newly constructed Alpha Police Division in Udi local government area of Enugu State. Represented by the Commissioner of Police in Enugu State, Mr. Beatrice Giwa, the IGP, said the division is part of efforts to expand police presence and improve security in rural communities. He charged officers to uphold professionalism, respect human rights, and avoid financial misconduct. The ceremony was attended by state officials, traditional rulers, and community leaders. Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to prioritizing child welfare and education. He made the pledge while receiving members of the Enugu State Children's Parliament at Government House. The governor said over 30% of the state budget for 2024, 2025 and 2026 has been invested in education, including the construction of 260 smart green schools and provision of 12 years of free education. He reiterated zero tolerance for child abuse, warning that offenders would be prosecuted. The Speaker of the Children's Parliament, Ms. Chimamanda Mobi, commended the governor for child-friendly policies. Enugu State has commenced interviews for the second cohort of the National Health Fellowship Program, a presidential initiative to strengthen primary health care delivery. 17 fellows will be deployed across the state's local government areas. The Commissioner for Health, Professor George Ugu, said the fellows will monitor healthcare projects, immunization campaigns, and service delivery at primary health centers. The program, which adopts a merit-based selection process, is expected to enhance transparency and accountability. Applicants expressed optimism that the initiative will improve grassroots healthcare services in the state. News around the globe is coming to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can stay connected with us across all our social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Now here's a quick recap of the major stories making the news. Federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities sealed a landmark agreement to address lingering issues in the university system. The alleged impeachment plot against River State Governor Similayo Fubara collapses as more lawmakers defect. 17 new fellows unveiled to support monitoring and evaluation of primary healthcare delivery across Enugu State. And coming up shortly, on the foreign scene, Benin Republic extends citizenship to members of the African diaspora with acclaimed filmmaker Spike Lee back in the historic move. And on business, the federal government orders the application of value-added tax on fintech transactions and bank transfers. And on sports, Morocco defeats Super Eagles of Nigeria on penalties to book a place in the AFCON final. We'll be right back. Need advert placements, coverage for events, or the latest news stories? Call 070-3043-7110 right now. Aneke TV, move with the world. Welcome back. Still on the news, Benin has launched a new citizenship initiative granting nationality to descendants of enslaved Africans, marking a major policy shift aimed at reconnecting the country with the global African diaspora. The program, known as My Afro Origins, allows applicants to claim citizenship through DNA evidence or verified genealogical records tracing ancestry to Benin. The scheme has already attracted thousands of applications, with the first naturalization ceremonies held for successful candidates, including individuals from the Caribbean and the Americas. The government has also enlisted prominent cultural figures to raise international awareness, while recent high-profile naturalizations have amplified global interest. Officials say the policy goes beyond symbolism, positioning the diaspora as strategic partnership in national development. The move aligns with large-scale investment in heritage tourism infrastructure as Benin seeks to transform its historical role in the transatlantic slave trade into a platform for reconciliation, tourism, and economic growth. Tensions have risen along the Iran-Iraq border following reported clashes between Iran's Revolutionary Guard and armed Kurdish separatist groups attempting to enter Iranian territory. The Iranian authorities claim the militants were seeking to exploit ongoing internal unrest sparked by nationwide protests. According to regional security sources, Iranian forces acted after intelligence warnings from Turkey about cross-border militant movements. Tehran has since accused both Iraq and Turkey of failing to prevent armed groups from operating near its borders and has issued formal diplomatic demands for tighter border controls. The clashes comes amid heightened domestic pressure of Iran, with human rights groups reporting large civilian casualties during recent protest crackdowns. France has barred 10 British far right activities from entering its territory over alleged plans to sabotage migrants' boats along the northern coast. The Interior Minister Laurent Nunez said the individuals pose a serious threat to public order and national security. French authorities allege the activists were conducting reconnaissance along the Channel coastline and spreading inflammatory anti-migrant propaganda. Intelligence Service began monitoring the group late last year after signs of escalation from symbolic protests to potential violent action. The ban comes amid growing political pressure over irregular Channel crossings and issues straining relations between Paris and London. French officials say the decision reflects a zero-tolerance stance towards vigilante actions in one of Europe's most sensitive migration corridors. Germany's Chief of Defense, General Karsten Bureau, says he is deeply alarmed by allegations of sexual abuse, extremism, and drug use within the Allied 26 parachute regiments. The investigation followed former complaints by female soldiers to the military ombudsman. Several soldiers have already been dismissed, while 16 cases have been referred to civilian prosecutors. Senior officials admit earlier internal reviews failed to uncover the scale of misconduct within a unit recently praised for overseas evacuation missions. The scandal emerges as Germany considers registering all 18-year-olds for potential military service to meet NATO manpower targets. The first leaders now face pressure to restore trust, reform leadership training, and prevent further damage to recruitment and operational credibility. The United States President Donald Trump has renewed calls for the United States to acquire Greenland, describing an Arctic territory as critical to American national security. Denmark has firmly rejected the proposal, calling it a violation of sovereignty. Washington and Copenhagen have agreed to establish a working group on Arctic security, even as Denmark and Greenland strengthen their military posture in response to renewed pressure. Greenland's leadership has publicly reaffirmed its ties with Denmark amid the dispute. Public opinion in the U.S. remains largely opposed to the idea, with polling showing minimal support for territorial acquisition. The disagreement has widened diplomatic tensions between NATO allies as Arctic security becomes an increasingly strategic concern. Now in business news, Nigeria's federal government has directed banks and fintech firms to apply a 7.5% value-added tax on electronic service fees effective January 19, 2026. The tax applies to charges on transfers, USSD transaction and card services. Revenue authorities say the policy is aimed at standardizing tax collection across the digital finance sector. Financial institutions have clarified that the VAT applies only to service charges, not transferred amounts. The government confirmed that interest on savings and deposits remains exempt. Banks have been instructed to itemize VAT deduction to ensure transparency as part of broader efforts to expand non-oil revenue. Global oil prices climbed above $66 per barrel, raising concerns over potential increase in fuel prices across Nigeria. Analysts cite geopolitical disruption and tightening supply as key drivers of the surge. Industry leaders warn that higher crude prices will raise petrol landing costs, putting pressure on pump prices despite local refining efforts. Retailers say the current margin between import costs and domestic supply remains fragile. Marketers are urging faster rehabilitation of state-owned refineries to reduce exposure to global market volatility, warning that continued reliance on imports leaves consumers vulnerable to external shocks. The Naira weakened to 1,419 Naira per dollar at the foreign market, while appreciation slightly at the official Nigerian foreign exchange market. Central bank data showed the official rate strengthened marginally to 1,419.5 per dollar. The divergence widened the gap between official and street rates to over 70 Naira. Analysts say the spread reflects ongoing liquidity constraints and demand pressures in the informal market. Currency watchers continue to monitor policy signals from the central bank as authorities seek to stabilize the exchange rate and narrow market disparities. And now in sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles were eliminated from the African Cup of Nations after losing 4-2 on penalties to host nation Morocco. The semi-final ended goalless after extra time in Rabat. Morocco converted all 4 sport kicks while Nigeria missed twice. Despite a strong defensive display, the Super Eagles were unable to capitalize on their chances. Nigeria will now contest the third-place playoff while Morocco advances to face Senegal in the final. In the meantime, the federal government has praised the Super Eagles for their performance at the AFCON tournament despite their semi-final defeat. The Information Minister Alhaji Mohammed Idris commended the team's resilience and professionalism. In a statement, the minister said the players upheld national pride and demonstrated unity throughout the competition. He urged them to remain focused and draw lessons from the experience. The government reaffirmed its support for the team as they prepare for the third-place match. Similarly, Peter Obi and Reno Mokri have praised the Super Eagles for their performance at AFCON following the semi-final loss to Morocco. Both described the team's efforts as commendable. Reacting on social media, Obi urged the players to stay motivated and finish the tournament strongly. Omokri also highlighted the team's discipline and fighting spirit. The comments reflect widespread public support despite Nigeria's exit from the title race. Meanwhile, Nigeria's supporters have accused Moroccan stadium officials of mistreating them during the AFCON semi-final in Rabat. An esports influencer shared footage alleging forced seat area locations and restrictions on fan instruments. The claims include ticket disputes and attempts to confine Nigeria fans to less visible sections. The allegations have sparked calls for an investigation by CAF. Organizers have yet to respond, but the incident has raised concerns over fan treatment at major continental tournaments. Abdul Samad Rabiu, chairman of BUA Group, has confirmed he will donate $500,000 to the Super Eagles despite Nigeria's 4-2 penalty shootout loss to Morocco in the African Cup of Nations AFCON semi-final. The match ended 0-0 after 120 minutes, with Nigeria missing out on the final due to failed penalties from Samuel Chukwueze and Bruno Onyemaechi. Prior to the game, Rabiu had pledged $500,000 if the Eagles defeated Morocco, with an additional $50,000 for each goal scored. In a post on X following the match, he reaffirmed that he would honor his commitment to the team. Now in entertainment, Actor Bolanle Ninolowo has stirred online reaction after sharing a video from an intimate outing with a mystery woman. The post follows months of speculation since his public separation. While the actor has not confirmed the woman's identity, fans have linked the appearance to earlier social media hints. Ninolowo has spoken openly about embracing a new chapter in his personal life. The development marks a visible shift for the actor following a high-profile divorce and relocation abroad. Busola Dakolo has shared a video featuring her son offering advice ahead of the new year. The clip shows the young boy encouraging calmness and personal growth. The post resonated widely, particularly as Busola embarks on a doctoral program following her master's degree. Followers praised the emotional maturity displayed in the exchange. The Dakolo family remains a prominent presence in Nigerian entertainment, often sharing moments highlighting education, faith and family values. And finally, before we go on news around the globe, here's a recap of our top stories. The federal government and Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have entered into a landmark agreement aimed at restoring stability to Nigeria's public university system. An alleged plot to impeach Rivers State Governor Similai Fubara has collapsed following the defection of more lawmakers. Enugu State strengthens its primary health care oversight with the induction of 17 new fellows to monitor local health systems. And on the foreign scene, the Republic of Benin has granted citizenship to members of the African diaspora with international support from renowned filmmaker Spike Lee. And on business, the federal government has directed the enforcement of value-added tax on fintech operations and bank transfer transactions. And in sports, Morocco have defeated Nigeria's Super Eagles on penalties to qualify for the final of the African Cup of Nations. Those are the main points of the news in details. And that's news around the globe on Aneke TV. For more news and live updates, follow us across all social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I'm Deborah Wakaba. Thank you for watching. Looking for a window to the world, a place where news, entertainment, and culture come alive. Welcome to Aneke TV, your ultimate destination for stories that matter and moments that inspire.
At Aneke TV, we bring you breaking news, exclusive interviews, and live events coverage, all with accuracy, integrity, and a fresh perspective. From the heart of Nigeria to the far corners of the globe, we keep you informed, entertained, and connected.
Whether it's sports highlights, music and lifestyle trends, or community stories that touch lives, Aneke TV is more than just television. It's your companion in every moment. Rich, vibrant, and truly unique, our programming celebrates the diversity and energy of Nigeria while keeping you at the pulse of the world. Don't just watch TV, experience it, live it. Move with the world with Aneke TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all at Aneke TV, because at Aneke TV, the world comes to you.
Aneke TV, move with the world.
As Nigeria enters 2026, the nation faces a pivotal year, balancing promise with responsibility. Economic analysts project steady growth and structural transformation, but the success of this year will depend on effective reforms, innovation, and citizen engagement. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, forecast a gross domestic product (GDP) growth of 4.5%, with inflation expected to ease into the low teens. Independent institutions, including the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, highlight a rebound in domestic demand and renewed investor confidence. Major drivers of growth include the near completion of the Ajokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline, expected to boost industrial activity, create jobs, and expand energy access in northern states. Ongoing tax and financial sector reforms also aim to strengthen public revenue and attract investment. Despite positive forecasts, Nigeria faces persistent hurdles. Rising inflation, especially on food and essential goods, continues to affect households. Security concerns in some regions disrupt communities and economic activity, while fiscal pressures require careful management to ensure sustainable growth. Growing sectors such as technology, creative industries, and service offer opportunities for job creation and innovation. Experts recommend improving agricultural supply chains, storage, and access to credit and technology for farmers. Transparent public spending aligned with long-term development priorities is essential. Supporting small and medium enterprises, SMEs, tech startups, and creative industries with funding and skills development can generate jobs, while expanding access to credit and fintech solutions will empower youth and women entrepreneurs. Strengthening community security is also crucial to protect farms, markets, and trade corridors. Experts stress that 2026 is a year for action, accountability, and inclusive growth. Governments must prioritize implementation and transparency in reforms. The private sector should invest in innovation and industrial growth, and citizens are encouraged to develop skills, embrace entrepreneurship, and actively contribute to community development. With practical reforms, investment in human capital, and collective effort, 2026 can be a year of resilience, hope, and national development. Nigeria's future will depend not only on policies but on the commitment and actions of every Nigerian.
Corruption in Nigeria is not limited to isolated scandals. It is systemic, deeply embedded, and sector-specific, affecting critical areas of governance, particularly oil and gas, power, the judiciary, and local government administration. These sectors highlight how weak oversight, institutional fragility, and accountability gaps continue to constrain national development. Nigeria's oil and gas sector, the backbone of the national economy, remains highly vulnerable to corruption. Despite contributing the largest share of government revenue and foreign exchange earnings, the sector faces challenges of opaque accountability, weak audits, and repeated allegations of under-remittance. Independent investigations into the period between 2011 and 2017 uncovered unresolved revenue discrepancies running into tens of billions of dollars. Crude oil sales, fuel subsidy claims, and joint venture arrangements have been particular areas of concern, while reforms like the commercialization of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and the Petroleum Industry Act were designed to improve transparency, implementation gaps persist. Recent international asset recoveries, including over $50 million repatriated from the United States, illustrates the scale of past governance failures and the slow pace of accountability. The power sector also reflects the impact of weak governance on economic and social development. Since 1999, Nigeria has reportedly spent over $16 billion on interventions in electricity generation, transmission, and distribution. Yet, supply remains unreliable for a population exceeding 200 million. Audits indicate contract inflation, poor project supervision, and regulatory uncertainty as major challenges. Debt within the gas-to-power value chain has forced government bailouts and emergency payments to suppliers. Recent steps, including settlement of legacy gas debts, aim to stabilize the sector. But experts warn that without transparent procurement, stronger regulation, and disciplined subsidy management, energy insecurity will persist. The judiciary is critical in enforcing anti-corruption laws, but public confidence remains low. Surveys conducted by the National Bureau of Statistics and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime show that judicial officers receive some of the highest average bribe payments among public officials. Perception studies consistently rank the judiciary among the most corrupt institutions, particularly in politically sensitive or high-value cases. Prolonged trials, frequent adjournments, and the procedural loopholes contribute to public skepticism. Legal analysts argue that stronger judicial discipline, improved remuneration, and institutional safeguards are essential to restore credibility. At the local government level, corruption directly affects citizens' daily lives. Councils responsible for primary health care, education, sanitation, and rural infrastructure are often cited in surveys for routine bribery.
Morning 042 and a pleasant greetings to everyone watching. You're tuned into Sunrise on Aneke TV, where every sunrise begins with delightfulness, like we say, and also bringing you today's delightfulness. I am Deborah Wakaba, coming to you live from our studio here in vibrant Enugu.
And good morning to you, our global audience. I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, at home, in your office, or in traffic, thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful morning. Always, we're here to refresh, inform, and motivate.
Yes, and of course, it's Thursday, 15th January 2026. And of course, we've got a full power-packed morning for you today here on Sunrise on Aneke TV. We've got our latest news, what's trending, our sports updates, and lots more. And of course, that special Sunrise vibe to help us on our day.
So, relax, grab that cup of coffee or tea. Enjoy the cruise because the sunrise is here.
Yes, and today on Sunrise, we'll be kicking things off with our quote of the day. With was that thoughtful, was that inspirational, and was that offer insight in whatever we do to help us stay well-driven, focused, and motivated.
Then, it's straight into the day's top headline. All the key news update that you need to remain informed will be shared, hot and tasty.
Yes, and right after that, we'll be giving you our weather report covering major cities in the southeast, so you would know what to expect before stepping out, or if you've stepped out already, it is to keep you throughout the rest of the day.
And later, we'll bring you the man of many parts, the sports oracle himself, the commissioner of enjoyment and the mental mechanic, and we'll wrap things up by celebrating our fallen heroes. Today is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
Yes. All right, now let's move over to our inspiration segment for today. Now our quote of today is coming from Buchi Emecheta, an author. And in his quote he says, "A hungry dog does not play with one who has a full stomach." I'm going to take that quote coming from Buchi Emecheta, who is an author. And in his quote he says, "A hungry dog does not play with one who has a full stomach. And now this quote means that people who are struggling cannot easily relate or to engage with those who are comfortable. Now a hungry dog here represents people who are facing challenges, people who are hardworking or working hard. Now they don't easily play with people who already have it. Like, let me put it in that scenario. Now when you know what you're going for, when you know what you want, you don't look at people that already have. You don't go in sync with people that already have. Now you try struggling every day. Like, you see people that already have that financial aid, already have that financial stability. Now you're working towards achieving something, whether it's school or anything, you're working towards achieving it. Now you don't forget your purpose, you don't forget what you're working towards, but instead you face what your challenges, you face what you are about to achieve. Mr. Ocha, I'd like to know your own thoughts on this.
All right. When we listen to Buchi Emecheta, when he talks about a hungry dog does not play with one who has a full stomach, he is here telling us that you just have to embrace your own reality, chase your own success. And it does remind me when Chinua Achebe talks about those whose palm kernel were being broken for them by a benevolent spirit. If you know that your own palm kernel has not been broken for you by a benevolent spirit, then you need to stand up, and break your own palm kernel. That's what Buchi Emecheta is telling us this morning. Embrace your reality, plan according to your reality, go after your own success. Let no other man's reality determine how you go pursuing your own dreams. So he is telling us this morning that we should plan, go after success as if nothing else matters, because no one else matters. It's just but you. And like we did say, Dangote has been telling us this year that failure in itself is a stepping stone. So you won't, because someone else has failed in their own endeavor and you made that your reality. No, there's something that is said: one who is being chased by a lion runs differently than one who is being chased by a dog. Yeah. So our own realities are different, and that's what Buchi Emecheta is reminding us this morning, to chase our aspiration, our goal, because all of us, our targets are different. So let me go to the market. As always, I love to speak to my brothers in the market, because we are known for our resilience, our entrepreneur spirit. So when you go out and because you've tried over time, is not really working, and you see other people being successful at it, that shouldn't deter you. Chase your own dream. Give it time. Like Dangote always told us at the beginning of this year, that it will pay off. Your hard work will pay off. Not because other people have not succeeded in this new enterprise, you make that your reality and you won't go after it your own way. No. Plan. Put in effort. Go at it. Work. Their reality doesn't shape yours. You are an individual. Your dream can only be realized by your own terms. So people shouldn't set the goal for you. Listen to Buchi Emecheta this morning and endure the hardship. Yeah. Continue in the spirit, the universal spirit of the Igbo man who is enterprising. We are known wherever we are. In the diaspora, we don't give up. And that's what Buchi Emecheta is telling us this morning. To know that we are a people who run differently. The realities of other people around us doesn't determine how we run. And do remember that a man who is being chased by a lion doesn't run like one who is being chased by a dog. Yeah. So our race is individual and it's different. Yeah. So chase your dream. Face your reality. Go by your own terms. Yeah. Don't let the people around you determine how you go. Keep your pace. But one thing is certain, like I will always say, and Dangote, has been a reference point in this year. Climb, take that step. Don't wait to see the end of it. And let failure be your stepping stone in this 2026.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. And also what Emecheta is also trying to tell us is that the priorities of those who are hungry are different from those who are already satisfied. So in essence, what he's telling us is that we need to change our perspective, and also that we want to meet the basic needs, that we should change our perspective and face that dream and go towards that, because when you are satisfied, that is when you are freely or when you've succeeded, that is when you can really rest. Now, also while we're doing that, let us know that each new sunrise is a platform where we learn something new. It's a place where we are simply present in whatever we do. So please let us know what this quote means. So you can drop your thoughts on our social media handles across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, or at Aneke TV. And also call our phone number 070-3043-7110. And up next is our weather report.
Yes, we'll take a look at the weather report across major cities in the southeast today.
Now we're starting off with Oka. Good morning, Oka. It's a mellow morning with mostly cloudy skies, keeping things cool and comfy early on. As the day heats up, those clouds will give way to gentle, hazy sunshine for school runs and errands. So expect temperatures rising into the low 30 degrees Celsius with the perfect sun peeking through by midday and lingering warmth into the afternoon.
And good morning, Enugu. Welcome to the cold city. Those early clouds will lift gradually, making way for some warm, hazy sunshine towards midday and early afternoon. It will be toasty, so sunglasses and sunscreen are a smart choice. High temperatures might flirt with the mid-30s degrees Celsius.
And in Abakaliki, hey Abakaliki, you're in for cloudy skies this morning, followed by hazy sunshine in the afternoon, which is a classic dry season vibe. Temperatures warming up nicely but not scorching. Great day for markets, hangouts or errands without the rain drama.
And good morning, Imo State. Welcome to my favorite city of Owerri. Owerri wakes up under cloud cover with some breezy coolness, but don't be fooled. The sun's going to sneak in as the day warms. Expect partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies with breaks of sunshine and warm temperatures through the afternoon.
And lastly, in Umahia, good morning Umahia, you've got mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies ahead. Gradually, the sun will coax the clouds aside as the day warms up. It will be a balmy and pleasant day, which is perfect for catching up with friends or hitting the road.
So, wherever you are in the southeast today, stay safe, stay cool, dress light, but do remember that either rain or shine, we've got you covered. And this is your weather report here on Sunrise on Aneke TV. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll bring you more news updates.
TV. Now we're taking a look at the major papers for today from the Nation, Punch, Vanguard and the Guardian newspaper.
And joining us this morning is a Nigerian, a patriotic Nigerian at that, Dr. Emmanuel Agu, who is a national affairs analyst. Dr. Emma, it's a pleasure to have you on Sunrise this morning.
Thank you so much.
And how has it been?
I think it's okay for now.
Nigeria has been treating you well, I suppose.
Well, we are all managers and we continue to manage.
Okay, it's good to have more managers. Well,
Yes.
Yeah, manager.
all right.
Alright, now moving over to our papers for today, starting from the Nation paper. And the headline there says, Wike Fubara feud. More Rivers lawmakers opt for reconciliation. And in the Punch paper, the major headline there says, U.S. visa shockwave. Trump order may delay 5,000 intended Nigerian migrants. And in the Vanguard paper, the major headline there says, 40 years after, why Nzogu's coup was inevitable. And in the Guardian paper says, ambassadors' absence desperation exposed federal government's $9 million lobbying in U.S. I'll be starting today's paper from the Punch headline that says, U.S. visa shockwave. Trump order may delay 5,000 intended Nigerian immigrants.
All right.
Thousands of Nigerians hoping to migrate to the United States may face fresh uncertainty following Donald Trump. The order could delay visa processing for about 5,000 intended Nigerian immigrants, sparking concerns among families, students and professionals who have already invested time and resources into the process. Immigration experts warn the policy could worsen existing backlogs and heighten anxiety for applicants.
All right. Looking at this headline this morning, it now begins to tell you where Nigeria is at the moment. How things has gotten so bad that we are being lumped with countries like Russia and other Venezuela, other countries who are not in the good books of the United States government. We are told that the Nigerians, for example, overstay their visas. They depend on benefits when they are in the country and all that. Then they are beginning to classify us in the list of, if I will use the word, though maybe very harsh, persona non grata, of visas that they give Nigeria, given to the collaboration between Nigeria and the US over time. It now becomes more worrisome that we are at this stage. But Dr. Ima, I don't know, when given what is happening and the level of collaboration that we are seeing with the United States government, just yesterday we had catchment of arms that was delivered to Nigeria by the United States government, and today we are saying that we are no longer free to step into America as we used to be, where the immigrant and non-immigrant visa seems to be quite easy for Nigerians. But it don't, in this administration, Donald Trump's government, it doesn't seem to be so any longer. What's your take on this?
Yeah, thank you so much. When you look at that caption, you see delay. And sometimes delay and denial, there's a thin line between delay and denial. And I know that the relationship between Nigeria and not just United States, other developed countries of the world have deteriorated. It has gone down. I think it's because of these security challenges that we are having. And Nigeria is no longer that investment destination that it used to be. That is why every country like United States are very apprehensive of letting people from Nigeria to come into United States. Yes, I know that records are there. Nigerians in United States have been contributing positively to the economy of United States, I know. Nigerians are also among foreigners in US that are known for hard work. They are very resilient. But I know sometimes when something bad happens, it tends to, affect the other good things that has been there on the ground. I want to believe that in no distant time, these diplomatic issues will be sorted out. Because all this delay, as I think, is because of these security concerns and the time that may be needed for Nigerian government to show positive posture towards these, non-state actors that are operating in some parts of the country. So when all these things, when they see that the government have now stepped up their, action towards finding lasting solution to this, I think all these things will, ease off.
All right. When you go further, the United States government said they are targeting countries that usually, overstay their visa, and with that this pause on immigrant and non-immigrant visa processing, which will take effect on January 24th, is necessitated by people who overstay their visa, and of course, like you did mention, issues around security, trade, and but you pointed out quite importantly that Nigerians contribute positively to the U.S. economy. Wouldn't that be a factor for Nigeria not to undergo this level of hardship? Because we know that United States, for example, is one country where Nigerians love to go, if not in terms of staying permanently. We want to go there for holidaying, medical tourism, and likes of it. What are the dangers that you see this pause will cause for Nigeria?
Well, in the short run, because the Trump that I know has always been a strong advocate of people staying in their country to sort things out. He doesn't believe in people leaving their country, especially when things don't go well, for greener pasture. He is a man who believes that if you allow the best from their country to move in search of greener, who is going to stay back to fix it? Yeah. So I personally, I don't even believe in greener pasture, because if you cultivate and water it, plants that come out from it will become green. So it's better, and some of us that are running away, I know things are not good. But if these are people that are likely to engineer, changes, positive changes in the country. Ordinarily, if the country is on a very positive pedestal, nobody would begin to tell us, monitor movements, because nobody will even want to leave the country. I remember when the economy of Nigeria was very sound. You can pay for your children's school fees comfortably. People go there to study and come back. But things has changed. Majority of Nigeria, especially the youth, are moving out. So the Trump I know would want people to stay back and fix issues there. Because that is just the way, if you listen to him talk, he's a man who believes so much in his America and wouldn't want anybody to come and, enjoy what you did not labor for. So in as much as I welcome people that may not want to be, if I listen to what Dele Farotimi said. He said that anybody who has the ability to leave this country and still remains has a psychiatric problem.
Please come again. Anyone who has the ability to leave the country,
to leave this country and you still remain behind, that you have a psychiatric problem. Meaning that this country has gone so way down the drain. So you can imagine somebody from his class saying this kind of thing. Do you understand? Yes. So, and sometimes somebody will always say, how did we get to this level? It is gradual, inch by inch. I keep saying it. Whenever you have problem with election, you can never get anything out from any government that has issues with the election. Because I keep saying it. It is politics that will give you governance. And it is governance that will give you good economy. And it is good economy that will earn you that respect in that committee of nations, so that nobody would want to say that we don't want you here. In the 80s and early 90s, this kind of things will not happen. Because anybody that is leaving Nigeria is just going there for maybe adventure, academics, and so many other things, and with the intention that you are going to come back. But nowadays, people will go, just like you mentioned, people who have overstayed the limit that was given to them. Yes. So we are hoping that it's going to change.
Okay. All right. One more or two more questions on this very issue. With this proclamation by the United States government, is that not a contradiction to the long-standing of the U.S. policy on free movement? You know that the United States is a country that has been built by immigrants, and they say that always. So, to this line, is it not a contradiction of that long, old-standing principle on freedom of movement of people? And again, I want to draw your attention to another point, that they mentioned before I get to the issue of security as well. They talk about the difficulty in processing Nigerians in terms of data and being able to backcheck the individuals from Nigeria. That's one of the challenges that they face, why they are pausing on granting immigrants and non-immigrants visa to Nigeria.
Yes, thank you so much. From what you have just said, I know that in international relations, the only thing that is permanent is interest. Yes. There may, and I know also that the characters of the principal actors in a state, to a very large extent, determines the perception of that state from outsiders. This was not like this when you had Obama at the helm of affairs in the United States. Obama was a kind of somebody who believed so much in diplomacy. Then Donald Trump is a man who is so direct to issues. And people that don't like him are even of the view that is not everything that you know that you say. Sometimes you keep certain things to yourself. The man is just trying to protect himself, in as much as they want to offer help. And that moment they dropped that first bomb in Nigeria was the moment I knew that the relationship has gone down. Because you know what it means. I know that Nigeria is a very big country in terms of potentials, resource-wise. But leadership that we have now may not have been able to introspectively bring out the best that we have, that I think we can offer to the world. Nigerians are very intelligent people. Nigerians are very talented people. Why is it that when you go outside, you see the best of the best who are Nigerians in key positions? That is an indication that we have what it takes to transform this country into one of the best in the world. So that is just what I think about it.
Okay. No, finally on this very issue around visa ban, part of the issue that, yes, you've mentioned as well is the issue around security. Seeing that Nigeria over period has been classified with countries that have serious security challenges. We are being classified with countries like Iran, Yemen, and all the rest of them. It becomes more worrisome where we are, since designing Nigeria as a country of particular concern. But my question this morning is, when they cite the issue of extremism as part of the reason, and we still have individuals who still tilt towards or being benevolent to the ideals of these bandits and terrorists in Nigeria, and we're not doing anything. They've not been arrested at the moment, and nothing is being done in this regard, as to be seen by the generality of people that something has been done. What is your position on this, and do you see this as being a contributory factor that would make this issue linger? Because there are many Nigerians that will be stranded. There are many Nigerians who are waiting to emigrate to the United States. There are those who are there wanting to, extend their stay, and many of that will cause, affect many Nigerians positively or negatively. So, how do you see this issue of security threats and extremism being a factor as well?
Yes, thank you so much. For you to understand the dynamics of what you have asked me, what is the general perception of some of these terrorists in the northern part of the country? They have brothers, they have relatives. Nigerians know where they live. So they see them as freedom fighters. Do you understand? And some prominent men in the north, if you look at some of the statements credited to them, you will see that they have this sympathy. They are sympathizers. And to a very large extent, let me even tell you that 99% of the reason why America does not want Nigerians to, go into US is that there are some key figures in this previous administration that have been listed as sponsors of terrorism. Look at this recent case of Malami. Look at, from the reports I have, guns were found inside his room. Somebody who is the Attorney General, who was the past Attorney General of the Federation, somebody whose primary duty is to defend lives and ensure that there is justice, dispensation of justice in the country. You are seeing arms in that commercial quantity. What does it connote? How would America and leaders and prominent people in the other side of the world perceive Nigeria? So there is this collusion, and it will be very difficult for anybody to extricate. I have my own solution as a political scientist, because I always look at things from solution perspective. I don't always talk about problem. If really you want to get away from this, I am suggesting, and that is probably what America may want to do, regime change. Look for any alternative, credible alternative. I don't want to mention names.
Yeah, sorry to cut in. When we say regime change, nobody would accept that favorably. Where we've had regime change, things have not worked well, and we're in a democracy. So when you cite regime change, it could be interpreted to mean that you are wanting us to move away from democracy. What Nigerians?
No, I am not. I am against Praetorianism, that is military intervention.
Okay.
I don't subscribe.
So we are looking at regime change to mean perhaps when we go into the next dispensation of politicking, electioneering, and getting perhaps doing a different direction in terms of political party.
Yes. Let me come. What I mean by regime change is, you look at, because America will not come and fight your war for you.
Okay.
They will do the bit, information gathering. They will supply you, they may supply you arms. The arms that they are supplying you they do it because the world has become a global system. Because one problem in any part of the world is problem to every other person. They will supply you arms, train you to fight your own war. But when coming to regime change, you have so many alternatives. If we have so many political parties, they will watch. Who are those principal? Who are those people that may likely, just like what Obama did during the Goodluck Jonathan era? You can do it. Look at another candidate. Look at candidates that you think. You can meet him, tell him what you need from him. Set up structures that would enable all these things. This insecurity that you see in this country, if we have structural modification, all these things will fizzle out.
All right, but granted, we cannot, lay the blame entirely on the present government. You talk about security, because the issue around insecurity in Nigeria, especially as prevalent in northern Nigeria, has been there for predicting this administration and beyond even the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. So I think it's like you did mention, a structural thing, in terms of our armed forces, the security architecture entirely, and perhaps not just because of the government in place at the time.
Yes, you talked about armed forces. For me, infiltration is the last stage before you see complete takeover of any state. Most of our key structures has been infiltrated either by people who have sympathy for these non-state actors, and in a situation like this it becomes very difficult for you don't even know the direction that you would go to get results. Look at how a brigadier general was killed. Stories surrounding his death. You will know that there are people who are enemy inside that security architecture. So whenever you have this issue of infiltration, remember when they told us something about repentant Boko Haram, that some of them went inside, and I don't know how we are going to allow somebody who went through radicalization to change overnight. So that one is a story for another day.
All right.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that regime change is going to change a lot of things because it's systemic. And in a system you have component units. Head of a system knows, and you just pluck it. You don't leave a rotten egg in the midst of other eggs. You remove it and throw it away.
All right. All right, that's quite apt, But let's move on to the next newspaper headline.
All right, moving over to the next paper for today, coming from the Vanguard paper, and the headline there says, 60 years after, why Nzogu's coup was inevitable. 60 years after Nigeria's first military coup, Vanguard revisits history to explain why Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu's 1966 coup is widely described as inevitable. The analysis points to deep-rooted issues at the time: political corruption, ethnic tension, electoral crisis, and weak institutions, which together created a volatile atmosphere that made military intervention almost unavoidable in the eyes of the coup plotters.
All right. Doctor, when we look at the Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu, a lot of problems were cited by the QPs as at the time. Part of them has been enumerated, ranging from issues of electoral crisis, corruption, and so on and so forth. But I want to ask you this morning, do you see the same reason why these young army officers struck as at that time, with the view that they want to change the system, cleanse Nigeria of the rotten eggs and corruption, moving them away as a way of sanitizing Nigeria as at that time? Do you still see these circumstances as obtainable then, still happening today?
Yes, thank you very much. Generally, the essence of government is basically to, tackle the issue of welfare and security of its citizens. And it baffles me to notice that for a country that is so blessed, richly blessed, like Nigeria, we are still battling with, basic issues, corruption everywhere. And in as much as I don't subscribe to military intervention, one may even ask this question: is democracy actually the best system of government? There are sometimes you sit down to, ruminate Is democracy actually the best system? Do you have democracy in some of these successful countries in the world? Can you apply democracy in every situation that demands that somebody must emerge as a leader? Because if we want to do a micro level analysis here, we know that in our families, we don't use democracy. We know the head. I'm Oyebu Diopala. I'm Oyeba Ada. And all these things are there culturally. And I was discussing with somebody the other day. I told him that why we are having problem in most communities today is that we have introduced democratic system in selection of traditional rulers. In the old, it's not done like that. Our people say that Aneke eji amo kacharacha. Every particular community is blessed with an Iroko tree. And everybody knows who that Iroko tree is. Sometimes you need to go and ask that person, please come and become our leader. That special gift given to you by God, please, why don't you use it to serve us? You are one of us and you cannot say no. That has been the practice. And when these things is done this way, it's very difficult for you to see that person turning against his people. Then even if you go to Catholic church, selection of pope, is it democratic? I don't want to go into that. So sometimes when you look at issues, and even some countries, Sahel region in Africa, most of these countries now have military, heads of state. And I think things are now beginning to move. In as much as I don't subscribe to militarism, we have to look at the end point. What system of government has this capacity of lifting us up from where we are? Countries like China, they don't have this kind of liberal democracy. They know somebody who is going to succeed Jinping now is somewhere in incubator, probably receiving specialized packaged training on how to evolve China in the next century. That is the type of training they are giving that person. So everything is not open to majority rule. Sometimes we have idiotic majority. Don't you know? In analysis of a population, you have qualitative and quantitative population. When the majority, if you don't have a way of checking what majority always say, you will end up not getting the best out of it. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say now is military rule may not be the best option. I don't subscribe to it. We have to look at our electoral system. That is where, if really we are tired of where we are, the current situation, we have to change our leadership recruitment process. And that is where the solution lies. A nation has to, and Aneke has to give us true results. Do you understand? And if a leader comes and he knows that he is a product of people's intentional action, I don't see him turning around. He will face his people. He will do something. Look at what happened in Abia State. Do you understand? Alex Otie, there's no way he can turn around. He can turn against his people. He knew that people voted for him. Everything in fact, I always say, I always use this word, anthropocentrism, having a centric emphasis on the people. There is no way you turn around against the people that voted you. So we have to look at the INEC.
All right.
And also the legal framework. That is the best way out of it.
All right.
Military rule is not an option for me.
All right, that's quite clear, and I quite agree with you that the military rule is not an option. Rather, we should tinker with our electoral process to be so transparent, so that the people are carried along where votes count. Is still the most acceptable, structure in democracy, so that the voice of the majority, or the majority would, like they say, will always have their way, but let minority equally have their say as well.
Yes.
So.
All right, now thank you very much. Over to our next paper, coming from The Nation newspaper, and the headline there says, Wike Fubara feud. More Rivers lawmakers opt for reconciliation. In Rivers State, there appears to be a softening of political tensions as more lawmakers move toward reconciliation in the long-running feud between former Governor Nyesom Wike and Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Reports say some aggrieved legislators are now favoring dialogue over confrontation, raising fresh hopes that the political crisis rocking the state may be heading towards a peaceful resolution, one that could restore stability to governance and legislative activities.
All right, when we go into the issues in Rivers State, there are a lot to unpack from Rivers State. It's been a running issue which we felt that by this time in 2026 that will have been a foregone issue that wouldn't be tilting back towards where we took off in 2025, that culminated in seeing a state of emergency in Rivers State. Just quite recently, we've seen the lawmakers, go against the sitting governor, Siminalayi Fubara, serving impeachment notice. And the information this morning is that some members of the same state assembly are now asking and begging their members, talking about other members from Kana constituency and Degema constituency. You talk about Nwako and Amadi, who has joined the House minority leader, Savanos, to ask the assembly to, tamper justice with mercy, even though, yes, Fubara may have and deputy may have, violated parts of the constitution, but that they should listen to the respected elders who are intervening on this whole crisis. But I want to ask you this morning, because when we've been analyzing this issue, yes, we feel that the whole party, all of them are supporting Mr. President, and they should listen to the party hierarchy, and impeachment, according to many analysts, is not the way to go, that the people of Rivers State should be considered in all this, because he said that when two elephants are fighting, it's the grass that suffers. So I'm asking you this morning, do you subscribe to the impeachment process continuing if the governor has erred, or they should find a political solution to the crisis so that development agendas will go on in Rivers State?
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, the problem in Rivers State did not start today. When some of us have been commenting, saying things about godfatherism, which should be, we at this moment, I don't want to go into how Fubara emerged, because I know that his godfather brought him, and there may have been agreement which may not have been followed in a concrete manner. Do you understand? So having said that, in this game, I think when you see somebody who has played God for a very long time, you now see that there is always a tendency for that person to start, making some critical mistake and error. Wike is a minister. You are a minister, you are a minister. I know, behind curtain, there may have been agreement. But if you listen to governor from and others in his side, saying that we cannot continue to keep to these terms. It is affecting our developmental agenda for the people of Rivers State. Let us leave it, or let us review it. He said no. So So all this impeachment or no impeachment, I know that Mr. President must have intervened from what reports are saying. That the president must have intervened, calling them to order. But it is a positive thing to hear this morning that more members are now of the view that they should embrace peaceful resolution. So once we have more members, maybe as time goes on and you have more members who are now canvassing for peaceful resolution of the whole thing, I think the problem it's not really that the governor committed any infraction. It has to do, it's purely political. But if they consider the people that they are representing, then I think it will now be resolved. I believe it can be resolved. That is just my stake on it.
All right. Yes, it can be resolved, and we'll pray and ask that it be resolved. But in all this, where does this leave? We'll talk about the people, who's been, suffering in all this, given that they've, seen their states, being subjected to a 6 months of emergency rule, and now the battle is raging. Though we're happy that there's been reasoning, everybody is now, wanting to, deliberate, have a conversation rather than the harsh words that we saw flying about. What does this speak to democracy in itself in River State?
Well, democracy has been affected, even from the inception. How did Fubara emerge as a governor? We are all aware of what happened in River State during the last election. How it was delayed and eventually Fubara emerged. Did he actually win the election? That is just the question. That one, Aneke should answer the question. But very big question mark. Did he actually win the election? And I think I've said it before. Whenever you have a governor, president, local government chairman who did not come through the ballot, who came through the other way, there is no way he's going to consider the people in all the decisions he will make. Do you understand? But thank God, they are now coming to their senses. And I believe, if you have a ceiling inside a roof, and eventually that roof is demolished, do you think that ceiling will remain? If you have a very big problem in River State, all those principal actors will still be affected. So I think it's high time they come together and sort things out and carry the people and begin to use the money for the people. That is just that.
All right, that's quite up, and thank you for those in-depth analysis. Let's go to the sports oracle, Mr. Good Hope, to see what happened in the sports world, especially last night.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing me in. I would tell you that yesterday we had that match we all have been anticipating, Super Eagles playing against Morocco, and we saw what happened, how the match ended with a 0-0 draw full time, and he had to crawl into the next extra time. And looking at the composition of the Super Eagles and the penalty played and the composition of the referees himself, a lot of blame have been being introduced to the scenario about the refereeing, how the officiating was poor, citing the references of Nigeria being affected by the poor decisions. But I wanted to just ask Mr. Uche if, looking at the scenario, what really do you think happened to the Super Eagles yesterday from that game?
Anyways, whatever I say will be tilted with this position of someone who is never a supporter of the Super Eagles, but I'm a passionate lover of football. I love the game. What I'm against is that Nigeria has been structureless when it comes to improving our sport, the sport that we love, the very sport that unites all Nigerians mother religion. And speaking to yesterday, I will speak to the facts. The truth remains that the better team won yesterday. Yes, Nigeria, there's no doubt we had a good team, we had a good outing, but yesterday, you know, we have been better captured where structure meets firepower, right?
Well,
so yesterday, yes, and yeah, I will tell you, we had the firepower, but you played a more structured team. So,
yeah.
in conclusion, the better team won.
Yeah, the better team won, but sir, looking at the game yesterday, we were talking about Morocco being a better team and Nigeria them too, seeing how they have displayed, how they have performed over the matches. So do you think Nigeria would have had any chance to win that match if there was no poor officiating from what people have been saying? Because I saw the match at some point and I saw the decisions. And being the sports oracle, I will tell you that when you compare these things, you will really see that there were some lapses here and there. Do you think Nigeria would have won if there was a fair and free and fair, let's say, like election, if there was a free and fair officiating? Do you think Nigeria would have, you know, had their way through the match?
Thank you very much. In the first place, those players would have known that playing in Morocco, in playing that match will mean playing against the entire people of Morocco. Yes.
Yes, of course.
So you are not it's not going to be easy.
Because there was a lot of wisdom
if their mindset, you are not, I hate it when somebody will now start playing victim. If you really know that you are going to meet a tough opponent, you are going to be tough, decisions may not come your way, you kind of prepare your mind towards that. Then when you look at that game, Nigeria plays from the middle.
Yes.
If you look at our pattern, we don't play wing football.
Yes, of course.
And those guys know. And they decided to play, whenever they have the ball, they will go towards the flank, the wing.
Yes, of course.
And they will always choke the middle. What our coach ought to have done is to change. You need to be very tactically, tactical flexibility is always good.
Of course, very well.
You change.
Very well.
You change. And also, when you look at, you only have few Nigerian players that have that mentality, that winning mentality.
Yes.
Number one is Bassi.
Bassi, yes.
Then you talk about Osimhen.
Then you talk about Nwabali. Nwabali tried yesterday too.
Nwabali, people don't like him because of some mistakes in the past.
Yes, yes.
Some of us are even playing as if we are not, although that one has reasons. Look at the kind of penalty. Penalty Chukwueze.
I wanted to bring us to that Chukwueze's penalty.
So when you are not committed, passion.
Passion, of course.
Passion is just a kind of spice that defines the direction of your activity. Once you don't have passion, there's no way you are going to do something in a very, definite way. Passion. Okay. Some of our players are lacking in that. And when you watch the two teams play, you see that Moroccans are the people that have shown that they want to win.
Yes.
Nigerians are just relaxed, defending. To what extent are you going to defend?
Well, I will tell you that looking at the match yesterday, there are many lessons we can draw from it. First of all, Samuel Chukwueze being that his penalty that he had to play.
That was a very poor penalty.
It was a back pass.
It was a very poor penalty.
Looking at the condition of what happened, you will see that penalty, he was just subbed in to play penalty.
But let me ask you one of those structural questions I always raise. How long did they have to camp as a team?
Okay, let me say something. You see, sometimes the way we reason at times, if you have issue of corruption in a country, it affects it's systemic. In a system you have so many components, you have component units. It's just like a virus. There is corruption in Ministry of Sports. There is corruption in Ministry of Work. And it affects our morale. Symbolic attribute of a state has been affected. How many players would want to die for the country.
Yeah.
Do you understand? How many players would want to die for Nigeria? Why playing for Nigeria? Because of the attitude of, because of poor governance. So corruption. And let me say this, there are countries that are not known, they are not among the best in the world when you want to talk about football. But you find out that it's very difficult for you to win them any day you are playing against them. Let me give you an example. Any day you are playing against Japan, you will suffer so much. They will make sure that they drill you. Japan.
Even if you're going to,
because they have this, what I call, they have a very strong symbolic attribute of a state. They are willing to die for their country. Have you played against United States? They are not known for football.
Yes, but
you cannot win them.
Yes.
If you like, go and bring the best 11 in the world. Play against you. Once they wear that shirt, I am representing America. I am representing Japan. I'm representing China. If China were to come, you find it very difficult to win.
But if I may, there was a time when that was the passion that Nigerians played. And that's what I complain about. That passion seems not to be there. There had to be a time that wearing that national jersey was an honor, for our players. And you see that fighting spirit in them, in the football team. It was there across board. And that's what we think to. That's why the likes of me that told you that we are heartbreaking cannot watch the Nigerian football when Nigerians are playing. I managed to, pee in, peep into the match yesterday. I watched the way it was going, and I did tell the person that I don't see Nigeria, winning this one. Even when people are predicting high goal margin and all that, I said I'm not seeing the goal. And then I slept off. I woke up again at the nip of time when the penalties were being taken. I told them when Nigeria has missed one, I told them if is it Hakimi, right? I said if Hakimi scores, Nigeria is not coming out of this. And immediately it happened. I said there's no coming out of this.
What do you have to say about that handball incident? Some people will say the hand is
tucked in.
But I saw it. Any referee would have given it. And 50-50 chance. A referee that has bias will wait for 50-50 chance to do what he wants to do. Yeah. He would have easily given that to them. That handball incident. Yeah. But we just managed to escape. Thank God we lost, and we lost gallantly. Yes. So but we are not the better side.
That's the word. We lost gallantly, and we are not the better side. So people shouldn't complain about officiating and all that. We always look for a reason. We always look for reasons.
We have so many governance issues. We have insecurity.
Perhaps he was playing a factor in the field yesterday.
Yes, now.
They were looking at if they dash them that money, they are going to pay us.
Okay, talking about the money too, we are talking. Abdul Samad Rabiu, chairman of Boa Group, has pledged to give the Super Eagles $500,000 if he said this before they played the match, and now he has said he's going to give it to them. And I don't know if that was actually a factor, but I can tell you that that's something that we have been looking up to having, come in as an encouragement to the guys who has played the game. It's something that we build them up to see that even at the national level, maybe that side may not really go well, but individuals who are well-meaning Nigerians who want to support privately, want to give their own support to the Super Eagles, and that's something that I've seen so far. I don't know if that is something we can see as an encouragement to the Super Eagles, and that will help them to do well. I don't know when it will be next time, except by 2027, the next AFCON that is going to take place.
Well, and for me, if you look at those players, they are all rich at their level. Money ceases to be a sole motivator at their level. Look at Victor Osimhen. Look at Lookman. Look at so many of them are in fact 99% of all the players are playing abroad. They are professional players. So money, all this money, sometimes why don't we look at delays in paying them their allowances? sometimes it affects them.
Yeah, Wilfred Ndidi came out to say he's going to pay this allowance.
Should he have
That's
come out
the
to say
structural
it?
issue we'll talk about.
Structural issue.
It's the structural issues we'll
Of
talk
course.
about that make people not play with passion.
Yes.
That make them not play carrying Nigeria on their head.
But we can
You know?
have this issue everywhere because
No.
the Minister of Finance
Let's not absorb anybody of this. Until you handle these issues, I tell you, you may stand the chance of not going to next World, not this World Cup, the one that will even come after this. You may not qualify. You have to start dealing with these structural issues. You know, I keep talking about it, and it's as if I'm not a patriotic Nigerian. Look at our home league. What are we doing about it? These are the structural issues that we'll speak to. You know, when a player is going to play, he has to worry about bonuses. They have to. The other time, Aneke came out to talk. Somebody has to field their transportation. Somebody has to, pay accommodation fee for these players. These are niggling issues that may not make them give their best in the football field. Let me tell you, football as a sport is a game you play with your whole psychological being intact. So there's no form of distraction. And I tell you, Nigeria is a distraction to our loved sport at this time. And let's keep hoping, we'll keep doing the mathematics, hoping that God loves Nigeria more than the rest of the world whenever we play against them. But football is what it is. It's garbage in, garbage out. There are moments of
reflection. It's a reflection of who you are, how you live in your country. I keep saying it. You cannot come out and shine. When you go in, you smell. So that thing shows. In fact, we performed beyond my expectation.
Wow.
Mind you, these players came back from different countries, different clubs. So I have always known that Nigeria is one of those teams. They keep progressing after every match because they still use it to cement.
All right, but the question I want to ask before I let you off the hook. So Nigeria and Egypt, right?
yes, for third place match.
So the sports oracle, give us the prediction.
Normally, Egypt is a North African country, and we always would face them as a big threat. Well, Egypt will will have to win, but Egypt may not win because we are looking at that game as a 50-50. So we are going to do our best like we've been doing, but Egypt will try to find their way, but Egypt will not win. We are still patriotic. This is Nigeria, and we still trust our people. So Egypt may not win, Egypt may win, but I'm sure that we're going to play our best.
All right, Doc, let me draw you into this. Between Senegal and Moroccans, who do you see lifting the
Senegal is
trophy?
winning Morocco.
Okay.
Whenever you look at an African team and you see a perfect combination of physicality and fluidity, Senegal is the best team presently in Africa. There is no way they will not win. You can't, in fact, having watched them yesterday play their match, they are the best.
Okay, Mr. Goodhope, I suppose you agree to you concur
Well,
to
yes,
that.
of course, I agree. We're going to see on Sunday evening by 9 p.m. That's when the final will take place. So
But although you refuse to call the margin, I want you to give us the margin. Give us what it is. You're the oracle, and we are at your shrine at this moment. Give us the numbers.
1011.
No, you've not said anything. The oracle speaks with certainty.
Well, let the oracle speak after the show.
Okay, and moving over to the business update. Here yesterday, January 14, 2026, the Nigerian stock market sustained its positive momentum for the 7th consecutive section. The market capitalization crossed the significant 106 trillion naira mark, driven by robust buying interest in major sectors. The all-share index yesterday gained 934.66 points, approximately plus 0.56% to close at 166,771.95 points. Market capitalization rose to approximately 106.79 trillion. The activities yesterday missed while the market was bullish with 47 gainers against 28 losers. The total volume and value of trades saw slight fluctuation compared to the previous day. The Nigerian exchange listed an additional 3.16 billion ordinary shares of UBA PLC following its successful rights issue, further deepening market liquidity. This one we see as a key event that shaped yesterday. And then moving up to the top 5 gainers, yesterday we'll see that the Academy Press led the winners yesterday, closing the market at 8 naira 25 kobo, making a plus 10 positive adjustment. They are followed by NCR Nigeria, which closed its book yesterday at 106 naira 30 kobo, making a plus 9.98% positive adjustment. Then Triple G and Company Limited closed their book yesterday at 4 naira 86 kobo, making a plus 9.95% adjustment. Then Tantalizers, which closed its trading yesterday at 2 naira 99 kobo, made a plus 9.93% positive adjustment. And then finally on that list is Multiverse Mining, which closed its trading yesterday at 28 naira 25 kobo, making a plus 9.92% positive adjustment. And then leading the losers table, we have May and Becker, which is a pharmaceutical stock, closing its book yesterday at 28 naira 55 kobo, making a negative minus 9.79% adjustment. Leading us to Wapik Insurance, which closed trading yesterday at 3 naira 31 kobo, making a minus 6.76 negative adjustment. They are followed by Livestock Fees, which closed trading yesterday at 7 naira, making a minus 6.67 negative adjustment. Then next on that list is PZ Cushions, which closed its trading yesterday at 54 naira 50 kobo, making a minus 6.52 negative adjustment. The final on that list yesterday is Etana PLC, which closed trading at 34 naira 20 kobo, equally making a negative adjustment of 6.30%. Then taking us to the money market, as at yesterday Naira showed resilience, making slight gains in the informal market while facing marginal pressure at the official window. And then when we go to the parallel market, yesterday we want to take on the market key drivers, as at yesterday Naira traded slightly firmer in the informal market, moving from 1,472 naira, that's selling price, to the from the previous day of 1,470 naira. Traders attributed this to improved dollar availability, which helped to absorb some of the seasonal demand from importers and business settling overseas obligation. Then the pressure we saw yesterday at the Nigerian foreign exchange market, the Naira opened session at approximately 1,426 naira 67 kobo. Despite central bank efforts to boost liquidity, demand for dollar for international trade and debt servicing kept closing rate under slight pressure compared to the previous day's close of the market at 1,424.50. Yes, we are seeing that the market, the FS gap, the disparity between the official and parallel market rate is currently sees at between 40 to 50 naira. And that is it for the business update.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now moving over to our celebration for today. Today is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. And today, being the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, is a solemn occasion set aside to honor the courage, sacrifice and patriotism of the men and women of the armed forces who laid down their lives in the service of their country. Observed annually on January 15 in Nigeria, the day marks the end of the Nigerian Civil War and serves as a moment of reflection on the course of peace and national unity. The day is dedicated to remembering fallen heroes who fought to defend Nigeria's sovereignty, protect its territorial integrity, and preserve democracy. It is also a time to recognize 7 military personnel and veterans who continue to risk their life in the face of security challenges such as insurgency, banditry, and other threats to national stability. Their dedication and bravery remains vital to the nation's survival. Activities marking the day often conclude red-laying ceremonies, gun salutes, church services, and the wearing of the symbolic red poppy. This act reminds citizens of the sacrifices made by the armed forces and reinforce the collective responsibility to support them and their families. So Armed Forces Remembrance Day is more than a ceremony. It's a call for unity, gratitude, and renewed commitment to peace. By remembering the fallen, The nation reaffirms its resolve to uphold the values of courage, sacrifice, and service upon which its freedom stands.
All right, and today we'll remember our fallen heroes and equally the heroes who've been helping to stabilize in terms of security, the standing of our nation. Today is a solemn day where we remember our heroes. Yes, and that will be it. We'll now go over to Dr. Ima Agu. Thank you for joining us today on the newspaper review here on Sunrise. It's a pleasure having you on the Sunrise.
It's my pleasure.
And we'll pray and wish that we'll see more of you in this program.
Yes.
And then to you, Mr. Goodhope, thank you for the sports analysis. And though you evaded, like the oracle telling us where we stand and what we will see in the sports world.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and please do not forget to follow us across our social media platform across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, or Aneke TV, or call our phone number 070-3043-7110. I am Deborah Wakaba. It's always a pleasure having you.
All right, and I'm Uche Osai. Remember, you're not here to be average. Be unique. Keep watching Aneke TV till come your way same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Aneke television. Heu, agirbo mudi egwu nkwazi na ya mgbochi okwukwu kakwa ogwugwu mma. Heu, mgbe ụwa bịa na ihe ebube eme, mgbagbu ụwa gbatawa na ihe ebube emewa. Aneke television na-emere ogbenye mere amadi ihe. Ị na-agba nkwụ, ị na-eme nkepụta nwa, ị na-akwa ozu, ị na-agba akwụkwọ. Bịawa na Aneke television, bịa ka ezuoru ozi ọma. Bịawa na Aneke television yidume. Heu, na-emere ogbenye mere amadi ihe. Ụmụ Igbo bịawo na nke a bụ nke anyị. Ị mara ebe oge ọrụ etiwo mọnwụ ntakịtụkwa mọnwụ si nne. Ya mere ha ji wee weta Aneke television. Ọ bụ onye mgbagburu agụ nna. Ọ dị na soshal midia. Ọ dị na mgbagbu. Ọ dị n'Enugu steeti. Ọ dị na Naịjirịa.
Across Nigeria, from bustling cities to quiet rural communities, one institution has endured the test of time: the traditional leadership. Long before modern governance structures emerged, these institutions were the heartbeat of society, providing leadership, justice, and social cohesion in ways that remain indispensable to this day. Traditional institutions are not merely ceremonial. They are custodians of Nigeria's rich and diverse cultural heritage. From the Obas of Yoruba land, the Emirs of the North, to the Igwe and Obi of Igbo land, traditional rulers preserve centuries of customs, language, festivals, and rituals. They ensure that the stories, values, and identity of their people are not lost in a rapidly changing world. What sets these institutions apart is their organic legitimacy. Unlike elected officials whose authority depends on periodic votes, traditional rulers derive their influence from ancestry, community consent, and deeply rooted cultural norms. This legacy makes them trusted arbiters, moral authorities, and stabilizing forces within their communities. Their position above partisan politics allows them to mediate dispute and guide society with a unique combination of wisdom and authority. At the grassroots level, traditional institutions are indispensable for governance and social order. They resolve dispute, manage land and chieftaincy matters, and act as intermediaries between local communities and government policy. In rural areas where formal structures are often distant or overstretched, the presence of these leaders ensures continuity, fairness, and accessibility in governance. Beyond mediation, traditional rulers are catalysts for development. They mobilize communities for education, healthcare, and infrastructure projects, while acting partnerships from governments and private entities. Their influence ensures that development initiatives are participatory, culturally appropriate, and sustainable. In this way, traditional leadership becomes a force for progress as well as preservation. Traditional institutions also play a vital role in maintaining security by leveraging local knowledge and community networks. Rulers provide essential intelligence and oversight, collaborating with security agencies to prevent and mitigate conflicts. Their involvement strengthens community resilience and reinforces the social contract between citizens and the state. Equally important is the moral and ethical dimension of traditional leadership. These institutions instill values of respect, integrity, communal responsibility, and peaceful coexistence. In a society grappling with ethical and social challenges, the guidance of traditional rulers remains a vital instrument for fostering discipline and virtue. In a nation as diverse as Nigeria, traditional institutions serve as a bridges of unity. They manage ethnic and cultural diversity, promote dialogue and encourage mutual respect, while preserving distinct local identities. Through their wisdom, they help maintain harmony and stability across communities that might otherwise be divided. The traditional institution is far from a relic of the past. It is a dynamic, enduring pillar of Nigerian society, a custodian of heritage, a mediator of peace, a driver of development, and a moral compass for generations. To harness Nigeria's full potential, there must be deliberate integration of these institutions into governance and national development strategies. For in preserving the past, guiding the present, and shaping the future, traditional leadership remains at the very heart of Nigerian life.
Ebonyi State, the salt of the nation. Located in the heart of southeastern Nigeria, is a story of transformation, resilience, and pride. Created on October 1, 1996, by the administration of General Sani Abacha, the state was carved out from part of Enugu and Abia states. Its capital, Abakaliki, has grown from a quiet provincial settlement into one of the most rapidly developing urban centers in the region. The name Ebonyi is derived from the Ebonyi River, while its slogan, the salt of the nation, reflects the state's historic salt deposits in Amachara and Uburu, which were once central to trade and local industry. These salt lakes stand as living symbols of self-reliance and the resourcefulness of the Ebonyi people. Culturally, Ebonyi is a proud custodian of Igbo heritage. The people are known for their strong communal spirit, creativity, and deep connection to their traditions. The New Yam Festival, Ogene music, Nkwa, Mwaboho dance, and the colorful displays of masquerades all reflect the beauty and vibrancy of the state's cultural life. In villages across the land, pottery, weaving, and blacksmithing are still practiced, reminding visitors that in Ebonyi, the past lives side by side with modern aspirations. Blessed with rich soil and abundant natural resources, Ebonyi is a major producer of rice, yam, cassava, maize, and palm produce. The Abakaliki rice mill, one of the oldest in Nigeria, remains a symbol of the state's agricultural heritage and its determination to feed the nation. Beneath its soil lie deposits of limestone, lead, zinc, marble, and of course, salt, all pointing to vast opportunities for industrial growth and investment. Over the years, Ebonyi has produced remarkable men and women who have made their mark on the national stage. Dr. Sam Igu, the state's first civilian governor and the former Minister of Education. Chief Martin Elichi, an accomplished administrator. Senator Anyim Payos Anyim, a former Senate President and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, and Engineer David Umahi, a visionary leader and the current Minister of Works, all embody the drive and discipline that define the Ebonyi spirit. From education to public service, from entrepreneurship to civic leadership, Ebonians continue to excel and inspire a new determined to shape a brighter future. The lessons from Ebonyi's story are clear. It teaches the power of vision, unity, and perseverance. It reminds us that no beginning is too humble and no dream too distant. Through hard work and community efforts, the people of Ebonyi have turned their challenges into opportunities, rewriting their destiny with faith and determination. Today, Ebonyi stands tall, a land of salt and substance, of culture and courage, of tradition and transformation. The salt of the nation continues to shine, seasoning the story of Nigeria with hope, progress, and pride.
The Insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless.
It will take the good mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter whose ox is God.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last block.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices, uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on The Insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV. Join us. Thank you for joining us today on The Insight. Remember, The Insight is that program where we bring to you heartbeats of issues, topical headlines that help in shaping our nation. And today on The Insight, we're having one-on-one with Comrade Chukwu Stella, the chairman ADC in Enugu State. Comrade, Happy New Year and thank you for joining us on The Insight.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year. And as we will say, compliments of the season.
Yes, many happy returns. It's a pleasure to see you one more time.
Thank you.
And since the last time we met, we were here in our studio. Yes, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
And that was in 2025, really.
Yes.
But 2026, here we are. And let's just get back to it. One was wondering or thinking that ADC will be at the back burner, coming into 2026, given the position of opposition parties in Nigeria. When you look at opposition parties, they are rarely nowhere to be seen. But if we came into 2026, especially ADC in Enugu State, stronger.
Yeah.
How were you able to do that magic?
Well, the magic really started with the formation of the coalition. In July 2025, a lot of persons came in from different political parties and chose ADC as the coalition party with which to procure the next coming election and going forward. So persons like the former Vice President of Nigeria, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, like the former Governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, like the former Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, the former Governor of Oyo State, Rauf Aregbesola, and all the, so many of them like that, former senators and all that. So they came in to choose ADC. They chose ADC as the coalition party, and they're coming in kind of like a signaled a lot of things for the party. And then to cap it all on the 31st of December, when it was almost as if the Southeast was not, doing much in terms of the coalition. On the 31st of December, the former governor of Anambra State, His Excellency Peter Obi, came in with his own group, and that signaled a new thing and a new shift in the coalition movement, and that's what is making ADC stronger, so to say.
All right. Yes, I was wanting to get into that conversation.
Yeah.
ADC are high flyers, and then we can. But okay, let's start from it. We did watch that outing at Aneke Lake.
Yes.
Where His Excellency, former governor of Anambra State, the presidential candidate of Labour Party in 2023 election, coming into the coalition proper, or I would say, is he a defection to ADC proper? What's the word to use?
Well, if you use defection, fine.
Okay.
If you say coming in, good.
All right.
Because what he did was a formal declaration of his membership with ADC, and at that moment he also said he has resigned his membership of the Labour Party, because, as you know, you cannot be a member of two political parties. You must belong to one. So his entry into ADC also has signaled his exit from a Labour Party. Okay. So he's now a full-fledged member of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, just like so many others like him.
All right. There are two issues here.
Yeah.
One, a lot of persons have argued, why the choice of Enugu State? How did you make Peter Obi come to Enugu State, and why did people choose Enugu State? He's from Anambra State.
Yeah.
It's expected that he would have gone to his ward in Anambra State to pick the ADC form rather than Enugu State. So why the choice of Enugu State?
If you know, back in history, you know that Enugu State is the capital of the Southeast. Yes, and Enugu State, before even being the capital of the Southeast, Enugu State was once the capital of Nigeria, and later became the capital of Eastern Nigeria, comprising Rivers State and all that, and so many other states that made up the Eastern region as a then. And then, so choosing Enugu State is just like telling the whole world that I am going back to base, the capital of the Southeast, the capital of the the Eastern region, and the former capital of Nigeria. So it is very significant.
Okay. So the choice of Enugu was to make a statement.
It was to make a statement.
Is
yeah.
That the,
and you know that shortly after,
with him, or?
You know that shortly after that, 3 days later, he went to Anambra to pick up his membership card. Okay. Yes.
Okay, but we're asking, is Enugu State a statement to the Igbos, him commanding the eastern states?
He is not just commanding the eastern states. He is commanding the eastern region. He is in fact, he is commanding Nigeria. He's not just commanding the eastern region. And we would not want to think the other party, the umbrella party, yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, they also chose Enugu State as their as the state for their convergence.
Yes.
So Enugu State is very significant. It's playing a very significant role as far as Southeast politics is concerned.
Yes, and I was going to, ask you questions about that convergence, the APC stakeholders meeting in Enugu State, where they've come out to endorse the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the candidate, not just of their party, but, projecting and prompting the Igbos, the Southeast, to adopt President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the man for 2027?
Well, that is them, the APC caucus. You will now ask yourself, how many of the grassroots followed them? Who are those that followed them to adopt President Tinubu? It is them, the governors, their aides and all that. They were just the ones that converged and adopted. But then they don't even hold the electorate. They are not. They don't have the ultimate say of who the grassroots, who ultimately are the voters, so to say. They have adopted him, but then on the day of the election, the electorates will decide who they will vote for.
All right, very well. Let's still go back to the issue around P2P, joining ADC.
Yeah.
Now, there's been this back and forth on his joining the ADC against the background that even before the formal declaration for ADC, P2B, is quoted to have said that he will be on the ballot.
Yeah.
And we know that the likes of Atiku Abubakar has come out publicly to say that they are not stepping down for anybody. So I want to ask, being that you're the chairperson of APC in ADC, in Enugu State, what are the chances that we may most likely not see P2B on the ballot?
Well, the last time I was here, that was immediately after the coalition.
Yes.
And I know that you asked, what informed it, and I said there were discussions that they held. All of them that, came up to say it is ADC, they held discussions. And they are still holding discussions. After the announcement of the coalition, that Atiku came and joined. El-Rufai picked up his membership card, and Aregbesola also picked his membership card. It was not like P2B was still dragging his feet because he wanted some T's to be crossed and I's to be dotted, and I believe that having formally declared for ADC, because I remember that also that there was something that we told him then, that you cannot be outside and not be dictating for someone that is inside. It's when you come inside fully and you register with the party and you become a member of the party, then we take it up from there. Now that he's a full member of the party, there are discussions that are ongoing. There are things that are being done, and ultimately, the desire of every right-thinking person is that His Excellency P2B will eventually clean the party. We are going to go into primaries. He said he's going to go into the primaries. And one thing is that AGC, we've always had very clear-cut primaries. So we are going to hold our primaries. It is now that the game has started, and they are going to be talking to a lot of people. There are going to be alignments, there are going to be realignments, there are going to be so many things to be done before the primaries. But one thing is that ultimately, when the primary is held, the right person, the right candidate will emerge.
And
Yes.
all of you in ADC will support the right person.
Oh, we
when that
will.
person does
Sure.
emerge. So
Yes.
no need asking if where you stand in all this. I understand, but I ask these questions, especially when I interact with a lot of analysts, and they seem to position that the ruling APC seem to be rattled with the joining or the declaration or the defection to ADC by Mr. P2B. Though, when I read the tweets from Bayo Ononuga and the Minister of Aviation, they seem to be of the position that P2B is not telling the followers the truth, that he is already accepted to be a vice presidential candidate to Atiku.
Well, I wouldn't know. I am not P2B.
Okay.
The one thing I know is that P2B has followers, and like I said, it is during the primaries that who will become the ADC presidential candidate will emerge. Our hope, especially down here, is that it will be P2B.
Okay.
That is what we hope, that's what we pray for. But where it is not, it will still be in the best interest of the country.
Okay, that's quite apt. Now that we're talking about P2B's joining ADC, and especially with the high-profile individual who were with him on that day, you know, as far as Southeast is concerned. And I want to know how his entry, these high-profile entries into ADC, has really strengthened or challenged the party structures of ADC in Enugu State.
Well, definitely, you know, it's going to affect the structure. We, not just now that he has entered, even after the announcement of the coalition, you know, we have to do some harmonizations so that we could you know, accommodate those that are coming in. And it's still an ongoing thing. As people come in, you see where you are strong. You stay, hold that one. Where you are weak, sort of, you bring in the other person that is more stronger to be there. So we are doing a whole lot of readjustments and harmonization to accommodate the interests of everybody. Yes.
Now, as the chairperson of ADC in Enugu State,
Yeah.
you know, when we talk about P2B, we speak about the obedient movement.
Yes.
What are you doing to convert this obedient movement or the obedience into faithful party supporters or committed party members in ADC?
Yeah, we're working harmoniously, and also on Wednesday, was it Wednesday or Thursday, the coordinator of the obedience movement in Enugu State and his team, they came to meet us and pledged their loyalty, because of course we have to be loyal to the party, and we are working together. And you know, the obedient movement, incidentally, it's not just the obedient movement. You have the people that they call them, they cope them. You have this other one that they call Global Obedient Movement. There's another one. There's so many, you know, like that. Structures in the obedient movement. So they are all coming together, and it's really honestly making the party stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's come down a bit to Enugu State. We've talked a little bit about P2B himself.
Yeah.
Now coming to Enugu State, I want to ask, what are the chances of the ADC coming into 2026, which is preparatory ground for the election? If it will hold in 2027 or in 2026, we are not yet certain.
Yeah.
But we're looking at 2026, 2027, except if the constitution is amended to bring it forward to 2026. But I want to know, given that the governor of Enugu State, for example, has moved from PDP to the ruling party APC, what are the chances of ADC in Enugu State when you have to battle an incumbent?
Well, anybody that comes up for election prepares himself to win elections. And because we are also going to prepare ourselves to win elections, we are going to be very careful of the candidates that we are going to pick to hold our tickets in the coming elections. Whether you move from party A to party B as a governor, whether you you remain where you are, the thing is that what are the electorate saying? What are they saying? What the people in the streets? What is the opinion about you? The market people, what are they saying about you? Those that those that are farmers, what are they saying about you? And it is all these things they're saying about you that will ultimately decide who will win the forthcoming election. Whether you defect, whether you remain where you are, it is the people's opinion, not what you say about yourself. It's what the masses are saying about you. And I know, and you know, what the masses are saying. We all know what happened in 2023 elections. We don't want to go there. The thing is that somebody has been declared as having won the election, both at the national and the state, but we know what played out. And these things that played out then is what everybody is kind of like saying, we are going to be very firm, we are going to vote, and we are going to stay till the last vote is counted. We are not going to give any chance, because it was a chance that was given by the electorates in the last election that brought us to where we are, both in the national and at the state level.
All right. Now, one thing we can ask, because you are here with me, what are the people saying about ADC? You talk about the market people. What are they talking about ADC? What are the farmers talking about ADC? What are the laborers?
What they are saying about ADC now is they're saying it is the party that will give us hope. It is the party that will wipe away our tears, our sufferings. It is the party that will change the narrative. That is what they are saying. Ask questions. And people are queuing out. They are queuing out in their numbers to register. I receive calls on daily basis. My people receive calls. Where is the party? I tell you, last Thursday, I was in the office. One barrister walked in with his, he just came up to the office and said, I want to register. Register me. I was looking at it. I said, what, sir? He said, register me. I have come to register. And that is what everybody is saying. That is what everybody is doing. They are coming out. And we have not even commenced the registration proper. We have not, because just last week the registration team was inaugurated in Abuja, and we are going to inaugurate our own here, and we are going to start. And people are tired. It does not matter whether you move from this PDP to APC. It is still the same people that have all. The only thing that changed is the name, the change in the name of the party. They know who are there, and they have said no to them. They want a new breath of life, and ADC is bringing that new breath of life.
Okay, but speaking of the movements, you know, the part of the accusation against the ADC and even the ruling party equally uses that as well to say that it's the same people that moved from PDP, from Labour Party, even from APC. They say that most of them are those who didn't get nomination, or those who didn't get appointment from Mr. President, or some of them who are disgruntled, you know, that have moved into ADC. That is still the same people that are in ADC.
There is one thing, and that thing is the uniqueness of the ADC constitution. And that was what was studied. I tell you, in 2018, for instance, when the former president Obasanjo started his Coalition for Nigeria movement, and he wanted it to, be part of a political party, he called so many political parties. By the time he finished looking at the constitution of ADC, he said, this is the party we have chosen. And since then, he has remained steadfast in ADC. And when the coalition also wanted to happen, they also looked at other political parties and said, this is what the party that kind of gives us what we are looking for. Yeah, they might have said they are coming from different climes. Everybody will not work for a particular government. If you are saying that there are people that are disgruntled, a former vice president, disgruntled about what? A former governor that later became a minister, what else is he looking for? So why would he be disgruntled? And so these are persons that have said, we are tired of what is happening. Let us form a new Nigeria. Let us do something different from what we have been doing. And these are persons that have come together, that have looked also at ADC constitution, looked at what we call the ADC DNA, and said, this is the party we are going to follow. So it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter how people look at ADC. The most important thing is that ADC is providing an alternative. Is the party that is now giving voice to the voiceless. Look at somebody like Aisha Yusuf. She said that she has never been a card-carrying member of any political party. But because this has to happen, because Nigeria needs to get a fresh breath, she said she's joining ADC. because they're going to make things happen. So those people, what of those masses that have never sought any political appointment but are coming into ADC? What are they going to say about them?
Okay. Now, let me still bring you back to Enugu State.
Yeah.
You know, I did ask about the ADC chances, you know, since as an incumbent governor who is a member of the ruling political party, the APC, against the background that even when I was discussing with some, you know, people from Enugu State, they cite a lot of projects, they cite a lot of innovation, you know, that the governor has embarked on, and Enugu State, they talk about Enugu State being and having one of the most, monumental budgets called Budget of Renewed Momentum, where we have about 1.something trillion in the budget, and then the governor equally has, you know, gone into grassroots mobilization where they want to get 2 million people registered into the APC as well. And I ask, what is your grassroots mobilization to counter this move? Okay. You know, going into
they said they want to mobilize, they have not mobilized, and they said the governor has done so well. He has done well. Capital projects he has done. Now you're making building monumentals within the Enugu metropolis. I'm not sure that all these things is giving food to somebody. I don't know where, but I am from Ini. I'm not sure that all these things he's doing in Enugu has given food to the person, the grassroots person in my village at Umbomini. Okay. Incidentally, these people that have shops, small shops like that, when they see the tax collectors coming, they lock their shops and run. One came one day and said, I don't want to open my shop today because these people, the revenue people are coming. That everything I have in my shop is not even up to 100,000 naira. And she's being made to pay 36,000 naira as tax per year. That's 3,000 per month. She said, go to my shop. I just open it because I have to do something. The persons that were displaced at Ogbete Market, where they now have bought terminals and all that, all those shops that were displaced so that you can have such terminals at Ogbete, at Gariki and all that, there were people's shops that were destroyed. Will they properly relocated? And now these persons, can they even afford these shops that are existing there now? They cannot. So they are literally displaced. And we can go on and on. Yeah, he can say he wants, you can even say it is good to be ambitious. You can even say he wants to mobilize the whole of Enugu State. Let me tell you, it would have been better for the governor to have remained in PDP, that Enugu people know, than going to join APC.
Why would they say that?
The Enugu people, at least they are known to be PDP people. They like PDP. They're going to join APC that has brought a lot of suffering to the people, that has not really impacted on the lives positive of any person in Nigeria, that has brought a lot of, insecurity. There was insecurity now, but by the time Tinubu came in, it heightened, propelling the president of America to even want to intervene. It's the height of it. And so, whether he going to APC, I don't know. I don't want, but APC is not a good market as far as Enugu people is concerned.
In other words, the government has played into ADC's hand and given ADC more chances in Enugu State. That's what you're saying?
I bet you. Bet you, yes. And we are going to give him a run for his money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that will dealt with Enugu State. There's another issue that I would want us to equally, throw more light on, and is around equally issues surrounding your party, the opposition party in general, and Mr. Peter B as well. part of the argument over time is that the opposition parties are in disarray, and we've seen that in Labour Party, and they seem to follow His Excellency Peter B wherever he goes. How strong is the party to withstand the APC and other maneuvering, to see that ADC pulls the way of the Labour Party, the PDP, and all that?
They have tried, but each time they try, it hits a brick wall. Initially, they wanted to stop the coalition from happening. It did happen. Then they got some members of the ADC to initiate a case against the Mark-led leadership, and it is also hitting a brick wall. So anything they want to bring, ADC is well grounded to withstand it. I will tell you something. Before the 2023 elections, there were some issues we had at the party then, and some state chairmen went to court. And that court lingered and lingered. But just as this coalition was able to, because that would have, rubbed off on badly on ADC. But those people, they came back on their own and said, we are withdrawing the case we have against ADC. And they withdrew the case. And so there is no visible case against ADC as a party. Anybody, other people that are trying their own, but we know that as far as we are concerned, and the only decision that is taken by the leadership of a political party, especially the NEC, is binding. You cannot go against it. And especially the NEC that was supervised by INEC. So that is what makes ADC strong.
All right. On that note, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll begin to look at other issues as well. Stay with us, please. The Insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless.
It will take the bold mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter who's on it done.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last block.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices, uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on The Insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV. Join us. Thank you for staying with us on The Insight. And if you're just joining us, we've been having one-on-one with Comrade Chukwuma Stella, the chairman, Enugu State, ADC in Enugu State. It's been a pleasure discussing with you on these issues. But yes, we've covered many grounds. We've spoken about the activities, the new entrance into your party, especially the activities what happened in Nikele here in Enugu.
Yeah.
We've spoken about former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. We've talked about the opposition, a lot of things, and what you are doing in terms of mobilization and all that. But I'm still a little bit on this mobilization. Looking at ADC as it is now, what has changed with the influence of these members, the coalition? What has changed?
Well, what has changed really is that before now, when you say ADC, you say, party, it's just one also party. But since after the coalition, the people now come to say, please, we want to join that your party. I remember one particular person that, came to me and said, come and join us in our party. Whatever thing, I know you are state chairman, okay, when you join us, at least we'll find position for you. And I said, I'm comfortable where I am. That was some years back. So he has come now to say, please, I want to be a member of your party. And so that is what has changed.
But that quickly reminds me, let's talk about the other parties in Enugu State. Are they not approaching you to move over to their fold? Talk about the APC, for instance. They've not been approaching you to either leave the ADC and join them as well.
No.
Yes.
They know they cannot.
Why?
Why would they ask me to join them?
Why?
I didn't join them when I should. Is it now that my party is even the beautiful bride that I should?
Okay, your party is the most beautiful
yes,
bride.
Yes, my party is the most beautiful bride, honestly.
All right.
And people are even coming from APC to join my party. People are coming from PDP to join my party.
Wow.
Yes.
Those who have ambition for 2027 or just the
well, most of them just say we like what is happening. We want to be part of it. Yeah, so many of them are coming.
Okay. Looking at the grassroots, for example, what's the mobilization been like with this coalition happening?
Yeah, we kicking off our mobilization, the registration. Honestly, we are kicking it off next week. You know, like I told you, we just had the launch of the membership registration and revalidation committee. You know, they just swore them in last Wednesday or Thursday, and incidentally too, somebody from Enugu State is one of them from the Bazuagu, the famous Bazuagu, he ought to have stayed back and for us to interact, and then we had to go to Abuja for an urgent call. So as soon as he comes back, we kick off. But then that does not mean that we are not registering people. We are already registering, and honestly, it's very impressive. I'm happy with what is happening. On Friday, I got somewhere. They said I should come and see what the award. I look at what they are doing at the award, and when I got there, the time I saw the crowd, I said, "You mean all these people came out for ADC in one word?" They said yes, and I thought that they didn't make the announcement, elaborate. Otherwise, that I wouldn't. That space where I saw there would have been taken over. And today at Oji River, somebody said he wanted to declare, just that we should just call about 40 persons he wanted to declare. And by the time we got there, and they said, okay, will you what chairman, just get what chairman, what secretary. What chairman, what secretary, that's 20 words in Oji River. What secretary, what chairman, that's 40. I told the local government chairman, okay, get these 40 persons, let them come. By the time we got there, the crowd that I saw there was almost like 150. And not that there was any formal announcement. Somebody will say, I'm going to, we are doing something. Say, I will go with it. That's to tell you the level of acceptance of this party. We don't need to bribe them with money. We don't need to buy bags of rice to give them, to lure them to come to the party. We don't need to make promises to them to lure them to the party. They come of their own volition. And that is the beautiful thing about it.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now, Comrade Stella
Yes.
Chukuma.
Yes, sir.
Good. You are playing in men's stuff. And from the last time we spoke, I was thinking that you were so stressed up with the activities, but you still look so fresh, so kept. How are you doing it? Being that you're playing in a very what we call the Champions League.
honestly, I just want to appreciate the team that are with me. These guys are just they're wonderful, and they've not allowed me to be ruffled. And the people that are also coming in, I don't know, they just keep kind of like have this belief that, oh, a woman, no, we want to work with this woman. That I know there's something they keep saying, that if a woman tells you no, she means her no. And I think that is also one of the things that has made my work easier. So they feel that a woman can do it, and because they feel that a woman can do it, nobody has really kind of like want to rub shoulders and say, look at you, sit down, do you know you're a woman? No, they have not. I keep having this kind of encouraging words for people. The former governor, because he's the leader of the party in Enugu State by virtue of his former position. And, when I called him, he would just say, Mwada, Jisike, I hope no, and that is him. He will encourage you, and other people keep encouraging us. And anywhere you feel challenged and you say, before you even say, I'm feeling challenged here, there's somebody that is already saying, this is how you go about it. So, and beyond everything, it is just the grace of God. I'm grateful to God for thus far we have come.
And what's been family support like? Because we know it takes a lot. You have to be here. There are a lot of engagements and all that.
Well, it's maybe because you don't have small children around, so they are the persons that can take care of themselves. My husband is late, so it's not like you say, this woman, where are you? This and that. So it's a bit easier. Yes, it's a bit easier with the kid and all that. So.
Right. But I remember something that we talked about the last time you were here, and I want to ask a bit on a lighter note. Do you still, when people call and you pick and they say it's a woman, do you still get that shock? A woman? Does it still happen?
Yes, somebody called me one day and said, when did I remember? He said, I want to speak with the chairman of Enugu State. I said, speak. I'm the one speaking. And I said, okay, chair lady. He didn't know whether to address me now as chairman or chair lady. I said, hello. He said, I'm here. I said, you know what? Just take a breath. Breathe in. I said, okay, now, how do you want to address me? I said, in our constitution, we don't have chair lady. We have chairman. So call me chairman. So we started laughing and he called me chairman. But, there are still some that will say, this one, one or two persons like that, but overall, I've gotten a big support from them, and it's encouraging.
All right. Before I let you go, let's get your final submission as we step into 2026. What are we expecting from you and the ADC going into 2026 from Enugu State and nationally?
Yeah, going in 2026 is preparatory to the elections, and a lot of things are going to be happening. We're going to be having primaries, we're going to be having campaigns will be starting and all that. So my take is that for ADC, we have said that we are going to be careful when we pick our candidates. We also want to ask Nigerians, both in the Enugu, both in the Nigerians at large, that politics is not a do-or-die affair. The moment we understand that it is not do-or-die affair, we will play politics that is sweet. So I will be for ADC. We are peace-loving. For ADC, we want everybody to come on board so that we can change the political scenario. We want persons that don't have their voters card. That is also one of the things we are going to be advocating seriously. You must get your voters card, because without it you cannot vote. And I cannot just say that with ADC the future is bright for Nigeria and Nigerians.
All right, very well said. And we've been speaking with Comrade Chukuma Stella, the chairman of ADC in Enugu State, and we've been looking at the issues around the ADC generally. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
My pleasure too, sir.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
do remember that on the inside, your view matters. Let us know what you think about the ADC in Enugu State and other issues that you want us to discuss on Insights, and we'll be here. Just reach us with our hashtag or the Insights all at Aneke TV on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and our WhatsApp handle as well. Till we come your way same time. I still remain your host, Uche Osai. Bye-bye. The Insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless.
It will take the bold mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter what is done.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last block.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices, uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on the Insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV. Join us.
Aneke television. Heu agirbo mu bi egwu nkwa azụ na ya mgboju okwukwu kakwa ogwugwu mma. Heu mgbe ụwa bịa na ihe ebube eme mgbagbu ụwa gbatawa na ihe ebube emewa. Aneke television na-emere ogbenye mere amadi ihe. Ị na-agba nkwụ, ị na-eme nkepụta nwa, ị na-akwa ozu, ị na-agba akwụkwọ. Bịawa na Aneke television, bịa ka ezuoru gị ozi ọma. Bịawa na Aneke television yidume. Heu na-emere ogbenye mere amadi ihe. Ụmụ Igbo bịawo na nke a bụ nke anyị. Ị mara ebe oge ọrụ etiwo mọnwụ ntakịtụkwa mọnwụ si nne. Ya mere ha ji wee weta Aneke television. Ọ bụ onye mgbagburu agụ nna. Ọ dị na soshal midia. Ọ dị na mgbagbu. Ọ dị n'Enugu steeti. Ọ dị na
Across Nigeria, from bustling cities to quiet rural communities, one institution has endured the test of time: the traditional leadership. Long before modern governance structures emerged, these institutions were the heartbeat of society, providing leadership, justice, and social cohesion in ways that remain indispensable to this day. Traditional institutions are not merely ceremonial. They are custodians of Nigeria's rich and diverse cultural heritage. From the Obas of Yoruba land, the Emirs of the North, to the Igwe and Obi of Igbo land, traditional rulers preserve centuries of customs, language, festivals, and rituals. They ensure that the stories, values, and identity of their people are not lost in a rapidly changing world. What sets these institutions apart is their organic legitimacy. Unlike elected officials whose authority depends on periodic votes, traditional rulers derive their influence from ancestry, community consent, and deeply rooted cultural norms. This legacy makes them trusted arbiters, moral authorities, and stabilizing forces within their communities. Their position above partisan politics allows them to mediate dispute and guide society with a unique combination of wisdom and authority. At the grassroots level, traditional institutions are indispensable for governance and social order. They resolve dispute, manage land and chieftaincy matters, and act as intermediaries between local communities and government policy. In rural areas where former structures are often distant or overstretched, the presence of these leaders ensures continuity, fairness, and accessibility in governance. Beyond mediation, traditional rulers are catalysts for development. They mobilize communities for education, healthcare, and infrastructure projects, while acting partnerships from governments and private entities. Their influence ensures that development initiatives are participatory, culturally appropriate, and sustainable. In this way, traditional leadership becomes a force for progress as well as preservation. Traditional institutions also play a vital role in maintaining security. By leveraging local knowledge and community networks, rulers provide essential intelligence and oversight, collaborating with security agencies to prevent and mitigate conflicts. Their involvement strengthens community resilience and reinforces the social contract between citizens and the state. Equally important is the moral and ethical dimension of traditional leadership. These institutions instill values of respect, integrity, communal responsibility, and peaceful coexistence. In a society grappling with ethical and social challenges, the guidance of traditional rulers remains a vital instrument for fostering discipline and virtue. In a nation as diverse as Nigeria, traditional institutions serve as a bridges of unity. They manage ethnic and cultural diversity, promote dialogue and encourage mutual respect, while preserving distinct local identities. Through their wisdom, they help maintain harmony and stability across communities that might otherwise be divided. The traditional institution is far from a relic of the past. It is a dynamic, enduring pillar of Nigerian society, a custodian of heritage, a mediator of peace, a driver of development, and a moral compass for generations. To harness Nigeria's full potential, there must be a deliberate integration of these institutions into governance and national development strategies. For in preserving the past, guiding the present, and shaping the future, traditional leadership remains at the very heart of Nigerian life.
As technology continues to advance, artificial intelligence is finding its way into every aspect of our lives, including education. But as school experience with AI teachers and virtual classrooms, one question remains: can we trust AI to educate our children? Today, we hit the street to find out what Nigerians think.
I wouldn't trust AI to, they educate, but they can inform. There's a difference between education and information. Education is like training, taking over. You have a teacher in school. You should listen to your lecturer. It's not about what somebody says. Or this is garbage in, garbage out. Even those of us who use computer know that at a stage computer gets confused on which word to put. The same thing applies to those of you who use Google to travel. At a stage, Google can carry you to another place. So you can consult AI when the need arises. It's especially for research work. If you are writing your project now, there are things you want to get to know. You ask AI. AI will tell you. You put it in your work. Or if you are a student, for instance, or you are doing a research, not that things you are supposed to learn in school, then you drop it and AI will take over.
Yeah. Because it's more understanding than anything. It's more they are more understanding.
One thing there is that change is the only thing that is constant. In this era, if you say that you wouldn't want your children to learn through AI or whatever, that means you don't understand the extent that AI is going. Yes, of course, they must have to learn through the use of AI, but that cannot replace the involvement of human beings, because AI may be efficient, but it doesn't have that empathy that human beings have. So there are certain things embedded in nature, made by God himself, that no technology can reproduce. And those things are why we cannot ignore certain other things that must be brought in, even as we use technology. But as for whether I would want my children to imbibe the AI stuff, that one is certain, because this is the era for it. A lot of things are now being done using AI.
I prefer human being. AI is a robot. It's not everything that he knows. But human being, naturally, there are some things he explained. It's not just how do I put it? It's not. It's sometimes you ask question and human being explain with nature, but robot don't know anything about nature. He cannot explain. It's only what he thinks is better. Let me just say, most of the time, ask AI a question, he will say he don't know it. But as a human, once you are educated and you exist, you just have a little reference to what someone has, even if you cannot tell the full detail of that, but you can give out something that the person will hold on.
I trust AI to educate me because it's an artificial intelligence which can make you to be what? To be computer literate, that will guide you, and also you can use it to empower yourself in order for you to be financial dependent. It can lecture you into technology aspect of life, which you can use it to produce a lot of things and be useful to yourself. I don't think that there is any negative side of it, because for my children, it helps them in solving their homework, which there is artificial AI, that is artificial intelligence app, that is in my phone, that will help my son to do some of his homework by himself in mathematics.
AI, there is the human factor. AI is not as calculative. AI cannot calculate, okay, this is what you need. For example, when you say my educational level, you mean as like different professions now. So for example, in medicine, AI does not have experience. So AI cannot train me according to what's happening in real life situation. It only has intelligence. There's intelligence and there's real life circumstance. So AI can't give practical examples. The negative side, I realize maybe it can make people become lazy, because every little thing people now jump to AI. It can reduce their intelligence quotient, because what makes people intelligent is stress their mind to think more. So AI can make people stop thinking, and which is now reducing their intelligence quotient, which means that whenever there is no AI, they can't function properly.
I'll prefer human beings to educate my children, because I think they foremost had a knowledge about education. AI just came like a year ago or 2 years ago. In as much as, yes, the world is internet based and AI is what is the main issue right now, but I would still prefer a human than AI. Concerning our society these days, the children these days are so internet inclined. So, and we parents these days are trying to be very, very careful with what our children see online. So if my child is above 15, I can trust AI. But below that age, I wouldn't want to, because of what is in the internet these days.
The opinions on AI education are mixed. While some see it as future of learning, others remain cautious. One thing is clear, As technology shapes our classrooms, the conversation about trust, qualities, and human touch in education is only just beginning. I am Chinaza Ifeanyi, Aneke TV.
Welcome to news across the country on Aneke TV. I am Deborah Wakaba. Now moving over to the headlines. Federal government approves 40% salary increase, introduces new bonus for professors. Yobe State Governor Mai Malabuni clears 15.4 billion naira gratuity backlog owed retirees. 35 new judges appointed nationwide as Osun Chief Judge is cleared for fraud allegations. Supreme Court set to deliver judgment in Sule Lamido's 1.35 billion naira fraud case. And now to the details of the news. Former Anambra State Governor Mr. Peter Obi has paid glowing tribute to Nigeria's fallen military personnel as the nation marked Armed Forces Remembrance Day. In a message released today, Mr. Obi described the fallen heroes as the shield that enabled Nigerians to sleep in peace, resting that their true resting place is not the grave but the hearts of the citizens they defended. He noted that the greatest honor the nation can accord the fallen is for leaders to build a country worthy of their sacrifices by restoring hope to the hopeless and ensuring justice, peace, and national unity. Obi said leadership failure undermines the sacrifices of fallen soldiers, insisting that remembrance must translate into action. Addressing bereaved families, Obi acknowledged the pain of empty chairs and silenced voices in many homes, assuring them that their loved ones did not die in vain. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu led the national wreath-laying ceremony in Abuja, with Senate President Godswill Akpabio and state governors also calling for improved welfare for serving and retired military personnel. The federal government has approved a 40% salary increase for lecturers in federal universities following a landmark agreement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alawusa confirmed that the agreement ends a 16-year stalemate over academic welfare and funding. Under the 2025 agreement, 9 enhanced and academic allowance have been introduced, including a new professorial cadre allowance that will see professors earn over 140,000 naira monthly as additional pay. The minister disclosed that President Bola Tinubu personally vetted the agreement, insisting on guaranteed funding before approval. To demonstrate commitment, the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission has already issued implementation circulars. The government says the funding is secured and clearly defined to prevent future disputes, with the goal of ensuring stability, quality education and uninterrupted academic calendars nationwide. The Yobe State government has fully cleared a 15.4 billion naira backlog of gratuities owed to retired state and local government workers. Secretary to the state government, Baba Wali, announced the achievement during a 6-year scorecard briefing of Governor Mai Malabuni's administration. He said the settlement has brought long-awaited relief to thousands of pensioners and reflects the administration's commitment to workers' welfare despite economic challenges. The government also highlighted major infrastructure projects, including over 500 kilometers of roads and a 22 billion naira flyover in the Maturu, scheduled for completion in 2026. Security and social sectors have also recorded gains with the procurement of 250 operational vehicles, recruitment of 6,400 civil servants, training of 26,000 teachers, and provision of 24-hour power supply to general hospitals. The administration says the reforms position Yobe for long-term economic stability. Delta State Governor Sharif Oborevori has approved a minor reshuffle of the State Executive Council, redeploying 4 commissioners to new portfolios. The announcement was made in a statement by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Kingsley Emu. Under the reshuffle, Mr. Michael Anoka moved from Physical Planning to the Ministry of Energy, while Mr. Sunday swapped from Energy to Physical Planning and Urban Renewal. In the education sector, Ms. Rose Ezewu now oversees primary education, while Kingsley Ashiboko takes charge of secondary education. The governor also nominated former SSG Right Honorable Festus Ovie Agas, Right Honorable Frank Enokoraga, and Mr. Charles Ajuya San to the Governing Council of Delta State University, Abraka. Formal inauguration of the nominees will be announced later. Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Mba has declared a state of emergency on child abuse, warning that his administration will not tolerate child trafficking, labor, or underage marriage. He made the declaration while addressing members of the Enugu State Children's Parliament at Government House. The governor revealed that the government recently stopped the marriage of an underage girl, insisting that anyone found exploiting children will face the full force of the law. He emphasized that child protection is a non-negotiable priority of his administration. Governor Mba also disclosed that over 30% of the state's annual budget has been committed to education for 3 consecutive years, funding 260 smart grade schools equipped with AI, robotics, and virtual reality facilities. The Speaker of the Children's Parliament, Ms. Chimamanda Amobi, commended the administration for inclusive education and child-focused healthcare initiatives. The Benue State Government has commenced a statewide needs assessment of general hospitals to improve healthcare delivery. Commissioner for Health Dr. Paul Oguche is leading a team to facilities in Makurdi, Aliade, Otuba, and Oju. The assessment is aimed at identifying gaps ahead of the deployment of 10 containers of medical equipment donated by US-based Project Cure. The government says the equipment will be distributed based on need, especially to rural communities. Dr. Oguche stressed that improved infrastructure must be matched with professionalism and attitudinal change among health workers. With representatives of the donor organization on ground, the government says implementation has begun to reposition general hospitals across the state. Fresh bandit attacks have sparked public outrage in Katsina State following raids on communities near Dusin Ma. Armed groups reportedly looted homes and rustled livestock just days after reports emerged that the state government is considering the release of 70 detained bandits under a peace initiative. Security analysts say the attacks exposed the failure of the peace deal, warning that releasing suspects could embolden criminal groups. Residents have criticized the move as rewarding violence while innocent communities remain vulnerable. The renewed attacks have placed Governor Diko Rada's administration under intense scrutiny, with calls for a reassessment of the state's security strategy. Many residents are reportedly fleeing affected communities over fear of further violence. Political stakeholders in Isuzu local government area of Enugu State have declared total allegiance to the All Progressives Congress. The declaration followed a high-level meeting in Ikem where leaders pledged support for President Bola Tinubu and Governor Peter Mba ahead of the 2027 elections. Former rivals including Labour Party's 2023 governorship candidate Chijoke Edoga joined ex-PDP leaders to present a united front. Council Chairman Obiora Obeagu said the local government has benefited significantly from Governor Mba's projects. Stakeholders also launched a mass registration drive to expand APC membership in the area. Political leaders Looking for a window to the world? A place where news, entertainment, and culture come alive. Welcome to Aneke TV, your ultimate destination for stories that matter and moments that inspire.
At Aneke TV, we bring you breaking news, exclusive interviews, and live events coverage, all with accuracy, integrity, and a fresh perspective. From the heart of Nigeria to the far corners of the globe, we keep you informed, entertained, and connected.
Whether it's sports highlights, music and lifestyle trends, or community stories that touch lives, Aneke TV is more than just television. It's your companion in every moment. Rich, vibrant, and truly unique, our programming celebrates the diversity and energy of Nigeria while keeping you at the pulse of the world. Don't just watch TV, experience it, live it. Move with the world with Aneke TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Because at Aneke TV, the world comes to you.
Aneke TV, move with the world.
Looking for a window to the world? A place where news, entertainment and culture come alive. Welcome to Aneke TV, your ultimate destination for stories that matter and moments that inspire.
At Aneke TV, we bring you breaking news, exclusive interviews, and live events coverage, all with accuracy, integrity, and a fresh perspective. From the heart of Nigeria to the far corners of the globe, we keep you informed, entertained, and connected.
Whether it's sports highlights, music and lifestyle trends, or community stories that touch lives, Aneke TV is more than just television. It's your companion in every moment. Rich, vibrant, and truly unique, our programming celebrates the diversity and energy of Nigeria while keeping you at the pulse of the world. Don't just watch TV, experience it, live it. Move with the world with Aneke TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Because at Aneke TV, the world comes to you.
Aneke TV, move with the world.
Happy New Year in Nigeria. We hit the streets to hear from everyday Nigerians about their hopes and wishes for the country in 2026.